Yes, that was awesome. I was vibing out to those tunes. Welcome to the Galactic Window Podcast, episode 5. It's good to see everybody here. Feel free to chime in the chat. I see a ton of our friends already here making an appearance. Good to see everybody. Thank you so much for coming out here. This is the Galactic Window, a podcast where I bring on guests who love space and everything about it. That's really the only prerequisite because that's someone who I want to talk to, is I want to get to know other people who love the same thing I do, and more so who can teach me something and teach you something about space. And tonight will be no exception because we've got an extra special guest. She is one of my friends from TikTok, which has been kind of a recurring theme in this podcast. And it's just such a cornucopia of knowledge and friendship and fun regarding astrophotography and space over there. And I wanted to kind of spread it out among the interwebs. So tonight's going to be a blast. I'm really, really stoked to have this conversation coming up. But first, I kind of want to give you guys a little bit of the rundown. So if you're new here, welcome. My name is Nick, and this channel is the Orbital Alliance. That is my brand across all the social media platforms. It's where I love to share my passion and love for space and astrophotography and wonder, all the things that fall under those categories. You can follow me here on YouTube or TikTok, Instagram, excuse me, or Threads, wherever you can find your preferred social media platforms. I will be there posting cool space stuff. But the Galactic Window, this podcast is exclusive to YouTube. And it's one thing that I've been really trying to push because I've stressed before that you guys can only enjoy listening to me so much. I think it's so much more valuable to bring in other voices and have a really engaging conversation along the way. Because I think everyone is just going to learn that much more. So again, tonight we're going to have an extra special guest, and I think it's about time that we bring her on board. So I'm going to introduce to you guys Tara, aka T-Div Astro on TikTok. She does incredible live streams over there. She loves to share her passion and love for astrophotography. And she is one of the people who has kind of learned on her own. She's self-taught in this hobby, and she is an incredible astrophotographer. And I'm going to be showcasing with her some of her work that she's done tonight. She does incredible photos of galaxies, planets, nebulae, all of the above. Basically, if you name it, she's pretty much explored that corner of the night sky. So Tara, I'm going to bring on board here, and we're going to have a wonderful chat. So welcome in, Tara, T-Div Astro.
Hi.
Hey, welcome. It's good to see you.
It's good to see you too.
Yeah, I mean, it's not often that we get to actually see face to face. Usually when we interact on TikTok, it's usually through the eyepiece of a telescope and one voice and a chat, or maybe two voices at most, but we get the chance to actually have a fun conversation kind of for real.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sweet. So how are you feeling? You excited to discuss the...
I'm excited. A little nervous, got the jitters, but it's all good. Good.
Totally. Yeah. Well, don't worry. You've got a whole cheerleading section here in the comments.
Oh, I know.
Let's go here. We got Blue Eyed Devil. Hello. It's an Astro nerd there.
Blue Eyed.
We've got Dazzle Shine. We know Dazzle.
Hey, Daz.
What is up? All right. Hey, what's up, Kat?
Hey, Kat.
How's it going? And Karen.
Hi, Karen.
Everybody's here showing some massive love. This is awesome. If you are wanting to make sure that someone you know can learn something about astrophotography, be sure to share the stream tonight with somebody right here on YouTube. You can share the link. You can text it to somebody. You can share it on your social media channels. That will help people get an opportunity to learn how to do astrophotography and to learn what is special about it, but also just space and astronomy in general. Gaining a knowledge of the night sky is just such a valuable asset for anybody. You don't have to do astrophotography. I think that's one of the coolest parts about this hobby is every time you walk out the door, the sky looks like a different place. So
right.
Yeah. So definitely tonight will be no doubt very, very engaging evening. So Tara, let's talk about the basics here. Like, you are an amateur astrophotographer and you kind of started like from nothing, right? Like, can you tell us the story of how you got involved with space and maybe, like, I don't know how far back that goes necessarily with interest for space, but you pick. Where do you want to start? What's your story?
Yeah, so I started getting into this and dabbling into it about a year ago. I've always kind of been interested in space when I was a little kid and always wanted a telescope, but never really found a reason to actually like, oh, do I want to spend money? Do I want to do that? I have a younger child who got super interested. He's 7 now, but around 4 or 5 years old, started showing an interest in the planets and stuff. So I said, how fun would it be to get a telescope and
Oh, I lost your stream there for a little bit.
for him to look at that through his own eyes? And that's where it all started, just viewing. And then it's like, I want to do more. And so I looked into it, watched a bunch of YouTube videos, and I started taking pictures of the moon, like learned how to hook up my Nikon. I bought a Nikon D7500, learned how to hook that up and take moon photography. And then I was like, no, that's not good enough. I want to do more. So I learned how to I didn't have an astro camera at that time. I did piece of the projection method. So, which is not easy to do at all. But those, did my first photographs with Mars and Saturn and Jupiter doing that eyepiece projection method. And then it just snowballed onto that. So I started going into stacking, and then I started looking up on YouTube how to do that. And then I posted a video of that on TikTok for the very first time. And that's how I fell into the Astro Nerd group. They kind of found me and welcomed me with open arms.
Yeah, totally. I had a similar story too. And I don't know who invited you, but the person who invited me is in our chat right now. I see Elliot. He just came in.
Oh, Elliot.
Elliot's here. Let me feature. There he is. You said, "What's up, nerds?"
Yeah. Hi, Elliot. Yeah. I think it was Professor Nixie who found me.
Okay.
And then Ryan Astro, James and stuff. They kind of put their arms around me and welcomed me in and guided me. So
yeah. It's the astronerd community is so special, and every guest so far on the Galactic Window has been from that community. We had Joe, Samantha, Justin with High Hopes Aurora, and we had Tan chasing the milk, and then now you. It's just been so cool to get to know everybody on a much deeper level. And it's like, why settle for like hoping that somebody like presents yourself, like we just get to have this opportunity to get to know real people who do the same things we love. Right.
Yep, exactly. And that was the best part of it. Like, whenever I had a question, I always knew who to go to. So, which were several people. I know Elliot's in here. He's my go-to a lot of times. So I really appreciate him.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And I think that's what's cool too, is like, I think the astronaut community, I haven't checked specifically recently, but it's somewhere around maybe 130 or 140 people now.
It's huge. It's huge.
Yeah. Which
Even
means
from when I started, it was huge.
Yeah. And there's that also means there's about 130 or so different skill sets. It's not just like, oh, everybody does deep sky. It's like there's so many people who specialize in different types of photography or different types of equipment. And everybody just has access to this shared knowledge, which is so much fun.
Oh, getting a little technical difficulties. It's spinning on my end. So
oh no. Okay. Yeah, your video is coming in and out a little bit, but it's mostly there. Is my video coming in clean for you?
Right now. Yeah, you were spinning a little bit too, but you're back now.
Great. Okay. Cool. Well, we'll do our best to just roll with things as the night goes on.
I think everybody knows I have slow internet when I'm live streaming and trying to show everybody nebulas online. I'm like, sorry guys, the pictures are loaded. So.
That's okay. Well, that's one of the cool things I think that we should totally mention here is that you and I share a very a mutual region in the United States. We're both Midwesterners.
Yes.
I'm in Illinois, and you're in Wisconsin, so we're next door neighbors, so to speak. And this kind of, I think, a unique part of our friendship here is that we get to share mostly the same weather, and
Yes.
um,
Yeah. Pretty
which,
much. Clouds.
yeah, clouds or more clouds.
Sometime.
Yeah. um,
Yeah.
can you tell me, you have a really funny subculture within your own community that you've created when it does get cloudy, or specifically when
Oh,
you're planning
yes.
on it being clear and it doesn't? Tell me and tell everybody about what that is. What do you call it?
Oh, so yeah, every time when I look at the app and it's like clear skies, yes, we're good to go. And then later that night, clouds take over. And that's when I say I've been bamboozled.
Yep.
That's my term.
It's perfect. I love it. And it's like,
Yeah.
that is one of the like great examples of individual creators kind of coming alive in their own niche. Like, is when you kind of have your own fun terms and moments that
Yeah.
you can share with the people who are regulars. And
Yeah.
that's what I love about your channel, is that you have that word and
Oh
everybody
yeah. That's
clings to it. Like, everybody loves it.
yeah. Yeah. Everybody knows that I use bamboozled.
Yeah.
So it's kind of my thing now.
Well, you have even a sub thread in your Discord channel called Bamboozled. So,
Yeah. Yep.
so we
Yeah.
can all share in collective misery when clouds
Yeah.
show up
Yeah. You
unexpected.
can all show me how you've been bamboozled.
So with astrophotography is one thing, but being a content creator is another. Did you have any prior experience making videos or sharing things online, or was that
Not at
something you kind of just
all.
picked up?
Not at all. I got TikTok when that weird period of we were all home, stuck in the house with COVID. And did you stare at have clear skies? Yes, you
Yeah.
did. So during COVID, I downloaded the app and I was just a watcher at that point, just flicking through videos out of pure boredom. And it's like you get sucked into them.
Hmm.
So when I started doing photography and astrophotography, I was like, oh, I want to do cool videos to, show people my images and stuff. And, started off slowly here and there. But yeah, I think, I've evolved, you know, at a good pace with them. And I love making the videos now when I'm able to. So yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting to get that data, collect that data, and process it and turn it into a video that hopefully catches the eyes of my followers and future followers. So
Hmm. Yeah, that's kind of the interesting thing about making online content on social media is you have to, of course, address the moment. So, like, there's an idea that you have. It's like, this is what I'm doing right now. But there is sort of the foresight you have to have. Like, how is this video going to impact potential viewers in the future? Is it going to be interesting to them at all? Or is it going to draw them in more? Like, whatever it is. And I think it's a skill set that's acquired over time.
it is. Yeah.
So,
And it's something you definitely have to learn. Like I've had videos that have tanked, and I've had videos like there's one video that got quite a bit of views of the Orion Nebula. Hey, Godfather. And I had that posted for like 2 months, and all of a sudden it started getting over 100,000 views, just like that.
mhm.
Um, so even if if you're out there and you're making content because you want to put your stuff out there, don't get disturbed. Don't get discouraged. It'll get out there at some point. And you just keep pushing along. And for me, it's not really about the views. I just want to share it with whoever can see it and enjoy it.
Yeah, that's such a wonderful approach to take. And yeah, I think you can drive yourself mad chasing the statistics too, and
Absolutely.
it can take the fun out of it pretty quickly.
Absolutely.
If you're just gunning for all the views, and some people make their entire content based on that subject alone. It's like, this is how you get more views. If you just do this thing, you'll be better off. You'll be viral every single time. And it's like, I'm
Yeah.
not sure if that's even the best thing,
No.
but as long as,
Right.
yeah, like you said.
I stay true to myself.
Mhm.
I'm true to myself, and I just do what I like. And even like with the music, sometimes I'll put like trendier music in, but even
Oh, we lost you for a little bit.
is for me. So um my kind of, my personality comes out in my music and in my videos, and that's how I like it, because I want people to see the genuine side of me.
Yeah, and if you just get lost in the process of it, the results follow, right? And I certainly think
Right.
that's been the case for you. And I mean, I remember kind of even just a couple of months ago, you were in the journey to get. There are some metrics that are really helpful to hit, and it is like a good
Yeah.
thing to like chase those. Like hitting 1,000 subs on TikTok or followers enables you the ability to go live. You can't go
Yeah.
live at all until you hit that number. And I remember when you did, and it was like this whole world of opportunity now opens up for you, which is so cool. And now you're at 5,000 something.
Yeah, like almost 5,600. Yeah, over
Right. Which,
5,500. Yeah, and it took me a year, like at least, maybe not quite a year, but almost a year to get to that 1,000.
mhm.
But I had my Astro nerd community behind me, rallying me, helping me get to there. And then after that, it's just been gradually building up. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, I think you're at your best when you're in the moment, and live streams are obviously that the embodiment of that. So when you're
oh,
live,
absolutely,
people get you uninterrupted like for
yes.
hours on end. So um it is like if you're live streaming a planet or something from your deck, then people are hanging out with you on your deck with you for
Yeah,
3 hours, and that's a relationship you're building with your own community. And those
yeah.
people are like, yeah, like I feel like I know this person, of course I'm going to follow them so I can hang out with them
You
next time.
Yeah, you really do. You get regulars that come in and you see them, and you get happy when you see them. And when you don't see them, you're like, "Oh, where you been?" when they come in after a while. And yeah, it's you definitely do build relationships and bonds with people that way through the live streams. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, and as we kind of know from conversation earlier today, a little bit over Discord, like there are, of course, things you have to balance with all the good that comes with it. Social media, of course, can be somewhat
Right.
tricky to handle. Like some people are not always playing nice in live streams.
You're right. Yes.
And that's not so much fun, when people try to abuse certain things. And but you do the best you can to like keep rolling. And I think that's the tenacity of being a creator and being a streamer is that stuff is so guaranteed. Like there's going to be trolls and people who try to kind of derail the train a little bit, but I think you do a fantastic job keeping up
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah. For the most part, you just kind of have to ignore it and just go on. I definitely, you know, don't allow people to step on me, but I also just be like, you know, okay, this is the way it's going to be. But, if you don't enjoy it, you can always move on. That's okay.
Yeah.
I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I get that. It's okay.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Well, that's like one of those life lessons too that I had to like figure out at some point when I was like, I always like struggle. I was like, oh, I always got to like make sure that I'm like on good terms with everybody, and I had to learn the hard way at some points throughout my life. That's not always the case, and yeah, people are
Right.
not always going to like you, so you gotta just be okay, continue your
Mhm.
momentum in a positive direction, regardless.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So TikTok is your focus. Like, have you dabbled in other social media platforms?
I have a YouTube channel too as well, but I'm not on it often. I have some videos um on there. I've just found it hard to get a gather in there for me. Maybe at some point when I grow my TikTok followers a little bit more, I'll plug that more then and try to dabble into that. But Yeah, my main focus pretty much is on TikTok. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
fun. I enjoy it. And I've met a lot of great people and have made a lot of great friends through it. So,
Hmm. Of the produced videos that you've made, so not the live content, what is some of your favorite type of video to produce for your TikTok channel?
so just showing like the nebula, like you mean the images and stuff. I like showing the images, like the nebulas and the galaxies, and I like making them kind of interactive. The last couple of ones that I did, like with the triangulum, I showed it off by making it kind of look 3D, blurring the background and something that's going to catch people's eyes. Um, and then, going out and promoting before I go live stream, you know, I like putting that out there and hoping that other people come and join me in my live streams and stuff. So, but yeah, I don't know. I just like putting my stuff out there and showing them what I've made. No
Mhm.
matter how I put it together, as long as, I like it and I think it looks cool and the music goes with it. I always kind of try to match the music up to the video and what's happening in it. Um, yeah, that's the best.
I
So,
I think I kinda talked about that a little bit when Justin was on 2 episodes ago, um, and you guys who are watching should go back and watch that episode if you haven't, but we kinda talked about the pairing of music and picking the right music to
yeah.
go with your video and just how important
Yeah.
that is, and I've spent enough time in the production world to witness, the power of that. And I have a friend of mine who's an audio engineer, and he always stressed that audio is more important than the video, and that it certainly includes like when it comes to a movie too. If
Mhm.
you're in a theater and the video drops out and the audio is still there, that's important. You can carry on a little bit, but if the audio drops and the movie's still watchable, like that changes everything. Like the experience arguably suffers a lot more. Um, but yeah, I think when you kind of get, when you get the right song to pair with a certain
Absolutely.
image, right?
Yeah. Yep. And a lot of people have connections through music.
Mhm.
So you could be triggering a connection or something, a memory with them. So yeah, I don't know. Like that one airplane video. You were there, that one
Yeah.
live stream I was doing. You and another guest caught that airplane going straight through the middle of the screen that I totally missed and I didn't know how. But everybody loved the song that I put to that. I think it was like Red Hot Chili Peppers, Aeroplane. They
Yeah.
loved it. They're like, "Oh my gosh, great song pick." I have to admit, my husband did help me out a little bit with that one,
Right.
with the song choice, but it went perfect. So
Right, exactly. Sometimes a little bit, like there's a couple different approaches you can take. I feel like there's like the right mood, and then there's like the sort of literal, like tongue in cheek approach to choosing music, like which sometimes has like a huge impact for people. Which you can
yeah,
almost play a little bit into the comedy of like, okay, an airplane went past the sun. I captured this on video. What song do I go with? It's like, well, yeah, this one about airplanes. Like,
right.
it's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Obvious choice, right?
yeah.
And I love the 80s. I'm an 80s girl. I love the 80s. And you'll hear a lot of 80s song. I like rock. So yeah, I tend to pick uh stuff that I love. So yeah,
Mhm.
and try to
Well,
make it work.
well, I think you and my wife would get along because she loves the '80s culture as well, and
Oh,
so at some
awesome.
point you guys will have to confer on that. And
Absolutely. Yeah.
oh
Yep.
man, so you're wielding a wicked rig behind you. You've got this
Oh
telescope
yes.
showing in
Oh,
the
look at the wrong way.
um.
Yes,
So
that one right here.
that thing looks gnarly, which is so cool. Of course, being self-taught, you had to learn not just the art of astrophotography, like how do you compose an image, how do you edit it, but the gear that it requires to execute said imagery. And that is
Yes.
no easy task. And
No.
there's some people out there. who can just like live in that world and understand it. I get a little bit of it, but I have not dabbled in as much as you have. Like that rig is very elaborate. So like, how did you get involved in the gear side of things, so that you could become informed enough to purchase the right stuff?
Well, I did some talking with fellow astronauts, and oh, thanks, Elliot. I love your videos too. And just kind of got ideas from them. It's like, okay, what do you suggest for this? Because my first rig was the AVX mount with the 8-inch Newtonian. Thanks, Elise. And so I know I wanted to expand to do astrophotography. So it's like, what do I get? And I know I remember going to Godfather Astro and being like, hey, this AM5, how do you like it? And he's like, oh my gosh, I absolutely love it. If you could get it, get it. So I listened to him. And because I had my SB Boney before that. And then it's so funny. You don't know what you need until you put it together and you try it and you're like, oh my gosh, then I need 2 strip heaters and I need a guiding camera. I need an autofocuser, because that would be really convenient. But it's just doing all this research and just the advice from others, filter wise. And then that was another thing. And everybody's like, oh, you need a filter for that. And well, what kind of filter? Well, you need a filter for emission nebulas, and you need a different filter for galaxies. And so, yeah, it's just like, oh, okay. And then you kind of fall down this rabbit hole of buying stuff. But yeah, but now, it's all set up together. My camera, I love it. So it's the SB Boney 80 ED refractor. And I have a 533 MC cooled camera, the Pro one, and then my 120 mini for the guiding. And I just absolutely love it. It's a great rig for astrophotography, and I would highly suggest it for anybody who has the experience with like taking some photos and want to move on to something else. Oh, Karen, thank you. It's a great start. The 80 ED, I think it's at that sweet point where you can see stuff that's a little further away, but you kind of can get a little bit of that wider view with stuff. So it's right that sweet point right in the middle with that 560 millimeter focal length on it. So yeah, and it has treated me well. All my astrophotography that I've done with galaxies, nebulas, is with that rig.
Wow. And how many telescopes do you own currently?
3.
3
of them. Yep. Okay. So I have this one, and I have that 8-inch Newtonian by Celestron, and then I have a C11. I have a Schmidt Cassegrain. So, and I just got that one this summer, I believe, and that was basically for viewing planets. So and taking pictures of planets.
Gotcha.
Still dabbling into that. I do have a ASI 224 camera. It's also an all sky camera. Haven't dabbled in the all sky yet. Figure that out soon. I gotta get that set up for the next meteor shower.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's also, I bought that as a planetary camera for the C11. Still trying to figure that out.
For sure.
With the back focus, trying to get things perfected. It really is a lot of trial and error.
Yeah. So when you pick a telescope to use for a night of imaging, do you have to tell the other ones to turn their heads so they don't get mad that you didn't pick them?
Yes. Yes. I had 8-inch. She's named Big Bertha, my Newtonian. And then my C11, that's Olga. I got names for them.
Hey, that's great.
And this is a little Pete over here. So I'll have names for them.
That's amazing. I see all the more reason to just totally lean into your hobby and don't let the details get the best of you. Like, just have fun with it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh man. Do you have one that you feel like, if you had only if your house was burning down and you only had time to save one telescope, which one would you choose? Oh no, I think we lost you for a second. Um
Oh, sorry, it was circling again.
yeah, you're back. Did you happen to catch my question or should I repeat it?
Can you repeat it?
Yeah, totally. So I asked if your house was burning down and you only had time to save one of your telescopes, which one would you choose?
I would save the one behind me.
Yeah.
That whole rig. Well, like the whole rig or just a telescope?
I mean, the whole rig, yeah.
The whole rig. Yeah,
Mhm.
it would be that one.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Yep, yep.
because I love taking pictures of planets, but it's really hard. It's tricky with especially when you have to know, the seeing, you need the perfect seeing and stuff. But that, I could never give up my nebulas and my galaxies for sure.
Yeah.
Godfather has sealed NMB. Come up anytime, buddy. You can come up and use it.
Yeah, there you go.
We're practically neighbors. So
The invitation,
yeah.
it's real. Um, yeah, that's so cool. I only have one telescope, and I've been shopping with my eyes for a very long time, and I've yet to land on something perfect. But one thing is for sure, I do need to do a heck of a lot more research and educate myself so that I actually make the right decision. Because
Yeah.
I picked out my telescope when I was 18. I was well, gosh, technically I was probably 17 at the time. I was in high school, and on my very first job, I said, you know what, I'm getting my first paychecks ever. I've always wanted a telescope. I'm making it happen. And
Mhm.
I was not well educated. I love my telescope. It's been a workhorse, but at the same time, like I probably should have considered more the capabilities of all the different kinds that are available.
Yeah.
And now that I know a lot more and what I want to be shooting, I hope I don't make as
Right.
impulsive as a decision as I
Oh,
made.
yeah. Yeah. That's definitely a good point because it all depends. Well, what are you most interested in? Are you interested in planets? Are you interested in doing galaxies and nebulas? Are you interested, it really does come into play when you're picking a telescope. Are you interested in the moon photography? So I really like my 8-inch Newtonian when I'm doing moon photography. I
Mhm.
love, that's my go-to, and especially when I'm live streaming. But it's funny because I got my C11 for planets, but I really do still love my 8-inch Newtonian for viewing planets and live streaming that too. It does an excellent job.
Yeah, for sure. Um, and sometimes that interest and that focus like evolves over time. Like you might enjoy doing a certain type of imaging or viewing like for a time, but then you learn that there's a different thing you can do, right?
Yes,
And
yes,
then you
yes,
fall in
and
love all over again.
exactly. Which is brings up a good point. Like for a long time, I've had a 135 millimeter broken
Mhm.
on lens, and I haven't used it very much. And just recently, I stumbled on people this photograph, and Elliot showed me a photograph of his as well with this wide field astrophotography image with
Mhm.
Running Man and Orion and the Flame and Nebula, the Horsehead, all in one picture image. And I was like, I need to do that. I need to do that. So I just happened to be looking at stuff and found something on Etsy that this guy had made, and I might plug him in. I think it's Think Thinkable Creations. He makes a hyperpod
Hmm.
mounting system
Okay.
that you can put your lens in, an automatic focuser, your guide camera, all of that. So I'm getting that for Christmas. That's one of my Christmas presents. So soon you'll be able to see me dabbling in wide field astrophotography now too. So
Cool.
yes, I'm excited about that for sure.
That's great. Well,
Yeah.
I imagine you're going to be like shoving your kids out of the way to get outside that night
Oh
and just
gosh.
like,
Yeah.
Mama's going to be busy tonight.
Oh yeah, my 7-year-old for sure. Yeah.
You just apologize in advance for any harm that might come his way. You just,
Right.
this is
Right.
important.
Yeah. I don't have to worry about the other ones. They're all older and doing their own thing, but my 7-year-old, but he just loves it so much and he's interested and he thinks it's cool and he thinks mom is like this cool TikToker and I'm famous and all this. So I'll just let him think I'm famous. Okay. Yeah.
Just ride it while it lasts. That's all.
Yeah.
It's all you
Yeah.
got to do, right?
He's my number one fan.
Yep. And then you can always hold this over his head as he gets older and claims that you're not cool. It's like, well, you thought I was cool for
Exactly.
like 7
I
years.
have
So
proof.
yeah, right. Well, hopefully that's not the case. I have hopes that instead he'll lean into it and be like, my mom showed me
I
this cool
hope
thing.
so. Like with all my heart, I really do. Hope that he gets into it and loves it as much as I do. And one day all this, I hope to pass along to him and he can continue that. And yeah. And we can do it together. We can be a mom and son team. So
Yeah.
that might be in the future too.
Yeah, of course. Which that made me think about how if this was a new hobby for you, like doing astrophotography, learning astronomy, and the things, everything under that umbrella, um, were there people in your life that you knew that influenced you at all that kind of like helped you like sprout that interest in you? Kind of like we were describing about possibly for your son, but also like if if not, or I guess regardless if they did, how has you getting this hobby impacted the people in your immediate life, like your family outside of your house, perhaps maybe your friends, your neighbors? Like,
Yeah.
what's that been like?
So yeah, I just kind of did it on my own. I don't know if I really had anybody that I kind of looked up to or anything, just because I've had that interest deep inside of me for such a long time. And it's like, okay, it's ready to just let it out. No matter how old you are. Like I started this when I was 45 years old, and I want people to know that it doesn't matter. You don't have to, you can start it at any age and learn it and enjoy it. But yeah, my coworkers, my staff at work, they love it. They think it's cool. Like
Mhm.
I share the photos that I do with them. Like they know when I've had my late nights, and they can tell when I'm a little tired and stuff. And oh, were you doing your astro last night? And they're always interested. They want to see it, and they think it's really cool. My family thinks it's really cool what I do. My husband enjoys like looking at it and watching it come to fruition. He doesn't like the whole setting up thing, all the
Mhm.
technical stuff to it and that, but he really enjoys seeing the outcome and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
yeah.
that's great. Well, it always, yeah, it helps to have a supportive spouse when it comes to your hobbies, and because that I think stokes the flame even more, and you
Oh
can.
yeah, he's the one that bought me that telescope right there for Christmas last year.
Oh yeah, there you
Yes.
go.
So, and he's the one who's buying me the HyperPod to do the wide field photography too for Christmas this year.
Yeah.
Thanks, honey. I love you.
We need to protect this man. Internet, get on it.
Yeah.
Like, protect this man at all costs. He is the
Yes.
giver and of all astro gear.
Yes. I know Godfather wants to do a date with them because, well, he's originally from Illinois too, down by the Chicago area. So
Mhm.
I think he all wants to get together and go to Portillo's.
Yes. Oh my gosh. You hear that, Joe? We can all go to the brand new one that opened up right by me just like a couple weeks ago. So this is perfect.
Yeah. I need to try it. I've never had Portillo's before.
What?
No. No. I need to get on that bandwagon.
Yes, you do. Yeah. No one is exempt from the Portillo's train. It's you either get on or you don't. And at this point, it's a requirement. You have to get on.
Yeah. And my husband, he thinks it's a travesty when I put ketchup on my hot dog.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he's like, "What are you doing?" Like, this is how we eat it in the UP, honey.
Right. Oh my gosh. Um, a comment I missed here a second ago, which was I think in regards to your son.
Oh,
Um,
he'll have his stormtrooper helmet on. Yeah, I don't know if you saw that live stream the other night, but So we picked up the stormtrooper helmet when we were on vacation and visited the Galaxy's Edge at Universal Studio in Florida. And he was in here the other night. He likes to just dabble around and see what I'm doing in here when he's supposed to be in bed. And he comes in and plops on that stormtrooper helmet, and he's just like right there, and people are just cracking up. So just walking by. He's the stormtrooper in training. So
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, I can join them next time. You know, so we.
oh yeah,
I've
you
got
have the
one too,
same
so
one.
yeah.
Yep. Mine's sitting right over there.
Perfect.
So,
Yeah. Too excited. So.
yeah.
Well, we'll make it happen.
Yep. Absolutely. We'll have to do a video. We'll have to do a TikTok.
Yes. Agreed. Joe also endorses that the Portillo's trip is a
We need
must.
to fix that. We do. We don't live that far away. We should make a plan.
Yeah. So before we move on, I thought it'd be fun we've been talking about all the gear and the learning and all that. Let's show everybody some of your work. I would love to do that if
Okay.
that's cool. So I'm going to add in,
Absolutely.
here we go. Let me pull up
Triangulum.
here. Maybe I'll start at the top here. I'll go kind of head different order here. Oh no, and let's hang on. Oh, you know what I did? Hold on. My bad. I unplugged the drive that it was
That's okay.
plugged in here. Hopefully it reconnects when I moved all my setup to get tonight rolling. Let's see if it repopulates, or I hope I don't have to like reopen the window, but oh, there we go.
There's
right.
my dupe.
There we go.
Yeah.
So up top here, we got some planets.
The first, my second Jupiter, but the first actual like real detail that I took with my C11 and the 533 MC Pro. And I put that C11 on my AM5, and people are like, "You're not putting that C11 on the AM5, are you? That's not gonna handle it. That's gonna like." No, it actually does really well with it. So I'm impressed. But yeah, this summer I took that picture, and I didn't even realize that I believe that's Io, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
But, I didn't even realize it was in transit. I had no idea when I was taking the data on that. And when that came up and showed up in the picture, I was like mind blown. I was like, "Oh my gosh." I was so pumped. So pumped.
Yeah. So for viewers who may not know what a transit is, you can see a little dot here just up to the side of planet Jupiter. That's one of its moons. And sometimes those moons go in such a way that they cast a shadow on their host planet. So you see this little black dot. That's actually an eclipse happening on Jupiter. And occasionally you can capture them. And this is what Tara's done, which is pretty awesome. And it's on my to-do list at some point to nail one of these, but
and I didn't even realize I did it.
Yeah, right.
I was really pumped.
That's like a chase goal that you just happen to nail for no reason.
And it was at the right place at the right time.
Yeah, that's amazing. What a great story.
Yeah.
So here, I was gonna like resize. These were, of course,
and that is Mars. My very first, when I first started doing planets, eyepiece projection. And I know it's not the greatest. This is when I was first starting out, but I was so proud, and I'm still so proud of that image. Like eyepiece projection. I don't know if anybody really realizes the struggle of that.
Mm-hmm.
You literally have to put like this extension tube at the eyepiece, and then you put what I was doing. I used my Nikon, and I was legit holding the lens of my Nikon, like the whole camera, to the eyepiece and getting video of that, and then stacking it. It decent for what it was. I was extremely pumped up about it.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
yeah.
Well, I mean, mission accomplished, because you can see surface detail. You can see a little bit of the ice cap at the top, a little bit of like dirt and dust here.
Yeah, not horrible for the first time using that method, for sure.
Yeah, and then close behind, we got the ringed planet Saturn. Oops.
Yeah, my Saturn. That one I did with the C11. Same night I did, I believe the same night I did it as Jupiter. believe. So with the C11 with my 533 MC
Gotcha.
Pro. So
Cool. Yeah. Okay, good. This is gonna work.
that was my very first Saturn with the eyepiece projection method.
Yeah. So this is
A
a
little green looking, but
that's okay. Yeah, I mean,
but see, I love how, you have these to go back and look how you evolve and with your equipment and stuff like that. It's just fun looking back on them. It's very nostalgic.
for sure. Yeah, well, and look at this progression. Like your initial image, the coloring is, like you were saying, it looks a little green. So maybe like
Oh, it's green. For sure.
Right. And then, it's maybe a little bit soft in terms of focus, or not focus, but like just image quality. And then you get this image, which just demonstrates your progress over time as you learn your gear and the methodology. It's so impressive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let's see here. Okay, so then moving on. So we referenced this earlier, and I love.
Oh yes, yes, the airplane video. That's the airplane that went across the sky that I missed, and you and another person who was in my live saw it, and you're like, "Whoa, it just went across the screen," and I'm like, "What?" Yeah, totally remember that day. It was a very hot summer. That whole summer was hot. I melted doing those sun lives.
Yeah.
And literally melted my phone.
What?
The Samsung. So I had bought a new Samsung Ultra 23. And I don't know if it was coming from hot weather outside, humid, and going in the house, cooling off. But my camera, it was literally melted inside. I ruined my phone this summer.
Oh no.
So that's when I moved on to my other phone. So
yeah. Well, that's a shame. I mean, do it for the shot, right? Like it's just a wartime casualty.
Yeah. It's all part of the job.
Yeah. But I mean, it's the clarity is remarkable that you're able to pull this from a TikTok stream, and you can see the contrails, like the exhaust trails behind it over the sun. And if only we were able to find out which flight this was, that would have been cool.
Yeah, that would have been. Yeah, I should have looked it up at that time. Yeah. I could probably look up the date though. I probably have maybe somehow. We'll see. I'll do some investigating.
I've seen some astrophotographers who track down the pilots of certain planes, and they have connected with the pilots and they've sent them the pictures. So maybe one day you could do a little bit of, or just like make friends with somebody in the FBI or something, and you can get.
Oh, I'm an investigator at heart. So
okay, yeah, there you go. Perfect. Then you don't need help. You'll be all over it. Here's some more sun.
Oh, the eclipse this summer. Yes.
Yeah.
So we had like about a 37, almost 40% totality. That I was freaking out all day long because it was very cloudy that day. And I didn't even think I was gonna capture anything. And it was like the astro gods shined upon me because just a few minutes before, like 10 minutes before the sky started opening.
Mm-hmm.
And I was able to get some of these images. So I was pumped up about that. Get my first eclipse. May not have been like a total eclipse, but it was still amazing. I was amazed.
Yeah. Were you able to see it with glasses or just through your scope?
Just through my scope. I wish I should have bought glasses. I'll learn for next time.
Yeah. Well, definitely pick up a pair for the total eclipse in April so that
absolutely.
Be ready.
Yep.
Cool. And then lunar, the next section here is all your lunar shots.
Yeah. This was my September moon this past fall.
And this was, it says here, it's the super moon. This one was incredibly bright. I remember having some very, very amazing moments being outside and just
Yeah.
making it feel like it was blue daylight. It was
Yeah.
just so
Yeah.
insane.
And it was just so huge in the sky. Like it looked like you could reach out and touch it.
Yeah, right. It was very like textured and hyper real.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, my
Yeah. I
laptop
love
broke.
the moon. I can never get tired of the moon. I know some people are like, oh, it's so boring. Like, oh, I could sit there for hours and just stare at it and all the detail on it. And yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, well, I mean, it's this one exclusive neighbor that we get. Like we're not Jupiter where we have like 60 or 70 moons or however whatever the
Right.
total is these days. Like
Right.
we can't pick and choose. We get one and it just so
Yeah.
happens to be massive
Yeah. We
and
have our one satellite and it's just right there.
right.
You know.
So it's like
Oh.
lean into it. And so
Yeah.
long as we can't go there, it should always be this thing of intrigue and um,
Yeah.
just
Oh, it
amusement.
fascinates me. Whenever I'm walking, if it's whether I'm getting out of work at night and it's dark or it's during the day and I see the day moon, and it literally it stops me in my tracks. I stop and I just have to look and just like, oh, I wish I had my scope. And then I go on.
Yeah. And then your husband goes, "Come on, focus. We're walking here."
Yeah. Yeah. Dead stop, really honest.
Yeah. Yep. Would you ever go to the moon if you had the chance?
I would like to say I would be brave enough to do it. I don't know if I could. I don't know if I could handle the ride. If they could make it smooth like an airplane ride, like a regular airplane or car ride, absolutely. But I don't know. I don't know if my body could handle all that change and
Right,
I don't
right.
know. But who
Are you a
knows? We'll
roller
see.
coaster person?
Oh, I. Mm, no, not
Uh,
too much.
uh,
I wish I could go on them. I really do because they look amazing, but get a little sick on roller
yeah,
coasters.
fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think
At
in
my age, I can barely swing on a swing. So, and without getting motion sickness. So,
Oh my gosh. Well, yeah, I think in a lot of ways, probably roller coasters are probably more violent and disruptive than rocket launches. So I think you'd probably do okay. So um, maybe when you get the chance, you just give it a shot.
give it a shot. You
Yeah.
never know.
Here we got a zoomed in lunar
Yeah.
landscape shot.
Yeah, that one I was playing around with and did some stacking with the Lunar and ASI Air studio.
Mm. Mhm.
So yeah.
So this software will take the data you've collected, kind of make a composite image, right? And it'll pull out the
Yeah.
best details.
Yeah. ASI Studio is super easy to use. It really is. When I'm still learning PixInsight, I would love to, just to be able to say I know everything about PixInsight. But I know a little bit about PixInsight, just enough to get it looking decent. But when I wanna like stuff that I just took recently, when I want to see, okay, I want to see how this turned out, kind of in a decent way,
Mhm.
I'll put it through ASI Air Studio and it's amazing. Like it really is super easy to do. And I think I'm going to actually do a live stream this weekend to show people because not a lot of people know the process. Like they see people using PixInsight all the time. You don't really see a lot of people using that ASI Studio for stacking and processing. So I think I'm going to introduce people to that.
Nice. There you go. Yeah, I'm not well versed in either of those at all. So, are those ones that you would feel like you'd recommend? I'm assuming there's more software out there available
Yeah.
for people, but those are the ones that you use.
Yeah.
And
So if you definitely have ASI Air, you download that and give it a shot. I know a lot of people who have ASI Airs, they still use programs such as they still use PixInsight or Nina or stuff like that. But it's so easy. You just put in your calibration frames, your lights, your darks, and I use for my bias. I don't use bias. I use dark flats. You just put them in, and it literally takes a few minutes for it to stack it and come up with a really nice picture, a nice image. So
Sweet.
my kid could do it. My kid could do it. My 7-year-old could do it.
There's the ultimate endorsement. Yeah. I like this. That said this portion of the moon.
Charlie Brown.
There we go. Let me see if I can get my mouse here. Here we go. So we got, is this like his head there and like his body, maybe his feet walking over here? Am I saying that right? I think so.
Is that what she's talking about? The Charlie Brown there?
I think so. I could be wrong. Oh, that's funny.
I always see right up in that corner. You see with the craters, the 3 craters up in that's Mrs. Puff. That's what I call from SpongeBob. That's
oh yeah.
Puff. That's what I refer that area to.
Oh, that's awesome. What is that term for when you like humans tend to make shapes of like clouds? There's a scientific term, I think, right? Like a psychological term.
I'm not sure on that, but yeah.
If you're in the chat, if anyone knows the term for that, throw it in the chat because I'm curious. I think it's kind of the same phenomenon. I've seen people who've seen swords and cats and I mean, who knows what, like on the moon.
Oh, I have seen the cat too. Yeah,
okay.
I've seen that one. And sometimes you see letters, like I saw X one time. And
yeah,
I did post a picture or a photo. And I have a TikTok of it. It looks like the screaming face. Like like the face. So
like Macaulay Culkin, it's like from Home Alone.
Or the Scream. The painting the Scream. So that's what I thought it looked like. So I made a reference to that. But it's funny. It's everybody looks at it and views things a different way, and we all see it, differently. And it's fun to see how people see stuff.
Yeah.
The moon has so much detail to it. Like,
right.
You could think of a million things.
Like, can you imagine if we had the other side of the moon, which is kind of less featured?
Yeah.
There's craters, but this side is definitely the more interesting side, and we're kind of lucky that that's the one side that we get facing us all the time.
Yeah.
Yep. Really quick, I'm going to take a quick second here to just address everybody who's watching. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Galactic Window video podcast here on YouTube. My name is Nick, if we have not had the chance to be introduced, and I'm interviewing Tara, aka T Astro, and she is sharing some of her best astrophotography with us this evening. And don't forget that you can submit questions or comments in the chat, and there's a chance that you might be featured in the conversation throughout the night. So just a reminder there. And if you're enjoying the podcast so far, would you please consider giving it a thumbs up there underneath the video? And if you know somebody who might enjoy this content, please consider sharing it with them as well. That would be greatly appreciated. So back to it. Let's see here. We got a first quarter moon here. And I noticed you had mentioned you saw the lunar X. Did you see the lunar V as well?
I don't know if I've seen the V.
Because those there's a specific 4-hour window at the first quarter moon where you can see the X and the V right along the terminator, the shadow of the moon.
That's something I'll have to look at, because that must have been the X that I saw.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if I saw the V.
The X is somewhere like right up here, and then if you go down, the V is like down here. So it should be in the same image.
All right,
it's pretty cool. Chase thing. It happens once a month, and you get 4 hours to do it. If you're lucky enough to have the moon on your side of the planet at that point.
I got something to look forward to. Yeah, this was one of my first moon photos I took with my Nikon and my 8-inch Newtonian.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, and it looks great. Like there's the dynamic range. Certainly along the terminator, you can get to see the shadows against all the mountains and the craters. They look really detailed.
Yeah. Yep.
So cool.
Yeah, I love it.
I saw here, where'd it go? The comment, there was somebody found the term I was looking for. Where did it go? Is this it? Pareidolia?
Pareidolia?
Is that correct? Okay. Well, thanks, Blood, for...
That might be it.
Cool. So that's the phenomenon of like making shapes out of things that you see in your mind. Pretty cool. Cool. And then moving on here, this is a different type of moon
Oh
image.
yes. Yep.
And I've
Yes.
never done one of these. So can you share with us exactly what this is called and how you achieve this kind of image of the moon? Because it looks different, of course, than this one.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's a mineral moon. That's the very first shot at it that I took, and I haven't really done any mineral moons since then. It's been a while, and I would love to try to do one again. But I did that one in Photoshop, and you basically have to go in and add all these different layers to it and adjust these layers. And honestly, I can't even remember the exact process, but you do you keep changing the layer with the saturation in it, and you do another one and change it up again and add to it little by little, so it adds that color into it.
And when you get the color, what is the color representing?
I think it's representing like different minerals. It's supposed to found on the moon.
Cool.
From my understanding. If I'm wrong, somebody correct me.
Yeah. Yeah. So like it would differ from this upper image that we just showed where everything kind of looks grayscale. It's like black and white, maybe a little bit of like a tannish color, but here it's like, oh my gosh, this is the reality of the moon. And I'm assuming it's because of the limitation of our human eyes, and even our cameras are not engineered for those color spectrums. Even the sun's white light would bounce color back, but you can pull those colors out with different, like, was it different filters or different processing methods or?
Yeah. So I think I use, so you have to, I know I put a luminosity, is it luminosity and luminance filter to kind of keep, you start with that. I wish I remembered, but I know there's a luminosity one you keep, and then you just keep making it and turn up. You keep adding as you go with the saturation. It's the saturation. Can't talk. But yep, you just adjust it little by little. And just keep adding.
Okay. There. Sweet. Yeah, it's a gorgeous image. Yep. I saw really quick my buddy Nathan jumping in here. Thanks, dude, for coming to say hi. I just saw you a couple days ago. We got to meet up in person. He's one of I've known Nathan since I was, I'm a baby. I've got pictures of us being in the same room together. I think I was being like baptized as an infant or something. Like it was like so long ago. And then we went to preschool together. Then we roomed in college together, and we still hang out when we get a chance when he's in town.
That's awesome. It's good to have a lifelong friend like that.
Yeah, one of the OGs, and has been a huge supporter of what I do, and I'm grateful for you, man. Thank you for chiming in and saying hi.
Well, hello, Nathan.
Here we go. Here's another moon. This is of course a daytime moon.
My day moons. Day moon is my favorite. I love the day moon, and I like that shot because I like the clouds with it. They're not in front of the moon, but clouds can be okay sometimes.
Right.
Those ones didn't bamboozle me, so those are good. Those are okay.
It's a love-hate, but mostly hate relationship, right?
It is. It really, really is. Yes.
I love this picture because it looks like fingers like reaching out, just trying to.
It does. I never really noticed that. Now that you say it, yeah.
Pareidolia. See, we're learning. We Oh my gosh.
Skeleton fingers.
Yeah, probably. Oh man. And that's one of the things that always I get a good chuckle out of is how the moon being out in the daytime is a very normal thing. Like just happens, based on how the rate at which the Earth is spinning compared to where the moon is in its orbit around us. So there's a likelihood most of the time during its phasing that you're going to see it in the daytime. But most people, I think, just in general, don't understand that. And it's the moon is just out at night.
Right. And I recently just had a friend I saw the moon. It was out like at 1 p.m., like way up in the sky. And I'm like, yeah, that happens.
And you had to drop a knowledge bomb on your friend.
Yeah, yeah, yep.
And now
So,
they're in a psychiatric ward trying to deal with reality.
well, it disappears, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't there something going around where was it David Copperfield made the moon disappear?
Oh, gosh, I don't know.
So people are like all on it. So
Yeah, it's always a funny revelation to have to explain that to people. Um, so now we're gonna get into the deep sky imaging. We've got a couple photos here that you've sent me, and you have two photos right up top here that you just
yeah.
captured this week. Tell us
Yes.
what this one is.
Yeah, so that's the California Nebula, and I'm trying to think. I think I did about maybe about 2 hours of data on that. I'm trying to remember. But yeah, that one I got to take to the processing station this weekend. So I want to process that one this weekend and see. The red in it just came out amazingly.
Mhm.
For that one, I believe I used my L enhance filter. So and I think it came out really, really nice. I was really impressed. I've tried to catch this nebula before and I just wasn't happy with it. But yeah, took it just the other night and I was really happy with what I got on that one.
Yeah, the detail is remarkable.
Yeah.
And capturing, you said you took 2 hours of imagery to get this single frame, and you were explaining earlier how the software that you use will take all the individual frames of those videos, and it'll stack it
It'll
together.
stack them together. Yep, and then you add, of course, like your dark frames to get rid of like hot pixels and noise, and your dark flats just to even out the background. And yeah, so it'll make it prettier. It'll get rid of all that noise, and then usually sometimes I can go into Lightroom or Photoshop and tweak it a little bit more. And yeah, so
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, like, this is the power of the digital age, right? Like, there's no way we'd have been able to do this, like, as a consumer, like average people
right.
buying, like,
And
essentially off the shelf gear with like
yeah,
film or something, you know?
yeah, there's never in my whole entire lifetime did I think that I would be able to do something like that. I think I had a conversation with you last weekend. We were setting up this whole, you know, meeting of doing your galactic window. And I never ever thought like I would see photos of astrophotography and just be blown away by it and thinking in my head, I wish I could do that. Wow,
Mhm.
that would be amazing. And I never thought it would be something that I could do. And here I am. Look at me now. So
Right.
doing it.
Well, while your friends are off taking more selfies at Taylor Swift concerts, you're taking
Yes,
pictures of
yes, and
nebulae.
actually they are, but here I am, like my friends. Oh, we're gonna go out dancing and go out to dinner. What are you doing? I think I'm gonna catch like the Rosette Nebula or
You're like,
something
I'm gonna get the
nice.
California Nebula. Yeah, it's
Yep, and as you can see why they call it the California Nebula.
yeah,
So
yeah. I mean, it's also burning.
yeah,
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's such a cool image. Like, stuff like this belongs, in a textbook. This is like the stuff you see in astronomy textbooks, like on the
right,
cover, these beautiful nebulae that are astonishing to look at. And here you are,
right,
you can capture it in your backyard.
yeah, yep,
Moving on to, this is the Rosette Nebula. Is that right?
yeah, yes, love that. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, my favorite part is there on towards the bottom on the right where you get those pieces right there. I don't know if you can zoom in on and see them, but yeah, just love it. Absolutely love it. The detail to it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And for those of you tuning in, a nebula is a gas cloud out in space, and they tend to be star forming regions of space. So all the elements that it takes to form a star, they condense in nebula and in a nebula, and then they form brand new hot stars. And they kind of like more colloquially, we'll call them stellar nurseries. So it's like kind of where baby stars come from. And
Yeah.
it's like the space birds and the bees. It's nebula. When a mommy nebula and a daddy nebula love each other, you know. But in all seriousness, it's a cloud of dust. So you can see where light from these stars being born is casting shadows, and we're kind of on the other side. So these little pillars here are silhouetted from the light from behind it. So you get to see this depth in this image you've captured, and it's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I really like this one. I love this one.
Man, and this is also unprocessed, right?
Unprocessed. Yep.
I mean, so everybody, look what you can do with a raw image, just kind of straight and stacked out of the camera.
Yeah, this was unprocessed, and the one before it, the California Nebula too, was unprocessed. So yeah, that's why I'm like so excited. I can't wait to get in and process them and see what it looks like.
Yeah. Well, good luck. I can't wait to see the final results.
Yes.
Couple more deep sky stuff, and then we'll wrap up the picture session here. Oh, and really quick, I saw I had to jump in. One of my other good buddies, Tony, jumped in here. What's up, buddy?
Oh, hey,
the
Tony.
Extreme. The Extreme is in the house. Thanks for being here, man. You got some comments here on your imagery?
Oh, hey, Chris. Yeah, it did. Yeah, that turned out the Rosette Nebula too. That was about 2 hours. Turned out nice for 2 hours. Yeah. And then the Bat Nebula, I probably did about 2 hours on that too, as well. That was, I believe this summer I did that one.
Cool.
So, and same with my SV Bony, same equipment, camera, and all of that.
It's so cool trying to imagine, you know, what we were talking about, these being just gas clouds in space. Every star in this image is a star within our own galaxy that we're kind of like looking past, or is behind this, you know, it's kind of all in 3D space. So like, there's so much going on in this picture.
There is. Yeah. And of course, that's part of the Eastern Veil Nebula. So that's only just a little part of a huge nebula. But yeah, as you're zooming in, you can definitely see, it looks like a bat.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can see like the ears and eyes and the face, and it's insane how much it resembles that.
It's like a bat from 2006. It's got an emo haircut right here. It's got an ear. It's probably listening to My Chemical Romance. We may never know, but yeah. Definitely looks like a bat.
I was pumped up about that one too. That one came out nice. That's one of my favorites. But see, with that new equipment I'm getting for that 135 lens, I'm hoping to get that whole Eastern Veil. So that's another one I'm looking forward to.
Well, I am now looking forward to it too. So I can't. As soon as you get that shot, definitely be sharing it.
Oh yeah, I love sharing it with everyone and showing you guys. So that will be out there.
This is a great classic one. Nice.
Yes. Oh, I've been waiting to get this one too. Horsehead and the Flame. Yeah.
So
and this one too. This is only probably about an hour and a half data, to be honest.
Wow. So here's the Horsehead portion, which is kind of the right part of it, this reddish section. And then the Flame Nebula over here on the left.
Yeah. I wish I would have centered it a little bit more. I actually finally found out how to do that on my tablet. Somebody showed me, hey, if you click this there, you can go in and you can move this little square on a center. I'm like, okay, that was a life changer. So now I know. But either way, yeah, I love it. I was pumped to get this one because it's a very popular image. Everybody kind of really knows a horse head, so it's fun to take that one.
What did it feel like when you got this imagery and you take it into post and you're kind of processing it and you start to see this come alive? What was the feeling for you there?
It's just pure excitement. It's joy. You really, really feel a joy. Like you feel it down in your heart. And I don't know if anybody else, my astro friends in the comments or whatever, can agree with me, but you almost, I am pretty sure I got teary eyed on this one. I really
Mhm.
did.
I don't blame you. It's incredible.
Yeah, it is.
Well, it's cool to see these stars that are way closer to us than the
Yes.
nebula. Um,
Yes.
this one maybe two down here. So you get sort of this like Z space, like not just X and Y, it's like depth. And
Yeah. Yeah. You get the spikes going. And yeah, it's pretty cool.
and this is a nearby neighbor of those two, right?
Yes, you're Ryan. Yeah. I was shocked about how fast it comes into detail when you take a picture, because you go to it and then so when you program your telescope to go to object and it centers on it and it takes a preview picture,
Hmm.
and that preview picture is about 5 seconds maybe, and boom, you see so much of it in that 5 seconds too. It's just right. That's one I'm still trying to perfect. I'll probably keep going back to it and back to it and doing more images, because I don't want to blow out that core, because there's 4 stars where that bright, really bright part is in the middle. There is actually 4 separate stars in there, and I keep blowing it out. So something to practice and work on.
Yeah. I mean, it's still just next level cool. And I
Yeah,
always excuse me, I always wanted to imagine what it'd be like to be kind of in the shell of this nebula, like
right.
as a planet. Like, what if Earth was around this? What would our night skies look like? Would it be noticeable? Because I'm assuming the starlight would be so bright, you wouldn't be able to really see much. But um,
Right.
you can hope that it would just be one of the most insane things to see if
Yeah,
you're that
yeah.
close.
But just be able to like float through it. Like, what would it feel like? Like, is it like a cloud? Like, I don't know. You just start thinking about stuff, and
Right.
because it just, I don't know. It's amazing looking.
Yeah.
Karen, I cried the first time I looked through my telescope. Yeah, it really is an emotional experience, because um I guess you don't really realize, like, yeah, you can see the sky anytime. You can look around and learn everything, like constellations and stuff, and then just taking it that one step further and looking at it through even binoculars or a telescope, and um it's like seeing the mountain. The one thing I can just describe it to is um, you see the mountains in the west in pictures, and then you go out in the west
Mhm.
and you actually see them for the first time with your own eyes, and it's it takes your breath away, and
Yeah.
this takes my breath away.
Right. Oh, absolutely. Um, Josh, I see you there, man. Another one of my friends coming in. Thank you, man, for spending your time here tonight. Good to see you, man. And just a reminder for everybody here, if you do have questions, you can put them in the chat. So I'll just do a little reminder up here. Along the way, if there's something you want to know, you want to ask Tara something
Hey,
about
Josh.
her equipment or her process or whatever it is, like we got a form here, and you have a chance to be featured throughout the night. So let's see here. I think we have like maybe 2 or 3 more. I think we're oh,
Okay.
here we go. Here's another one.
Oh yeah, there's my Triffid. Yeah, that was a fun
Tripping.
one too. I
Cool.
really like the detail in the middle of it. It almost looks like a net or something, like it connected, and like I don't even know how to explain it. Almost like it's keeping it together.
Right. Yeah. It's like some kind of construct that's like housing it,
Yeah.
like holding back
Yeah.
some kind of crazy energy, right?
Right. Right.
Belongs in a Marvel movie, I think.
Yes. Yeah. And that one, I think I did ASI Air. I used and also every time, sometimes if I don't get enough pics in sight to use the scanner to get rid of the green. There's I always say it wrong. Graphs graph expert graphs. It's GRAPNET. GRAXEPR or something like that. Oh, I'm
Okay.
totally butchering it. But
Okay.
you just load your picture in and you put in the points all around in like the dark areas and you calculate it and stuff and it neutralizes the background and stuff.
Gotcha. Okay.
So
Um, like this looks like a mole.
it's like a mole. Oh, blue-eyed. It does kind of know now that you say it.
That mole's like a little, is this like a little pink nose, maybe the two eyes
If
right
I had a
here.
mole like that, I would go to my dermatologist.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh that
We
that kind
would,
of mole.
yeah, if I had a mole like that, I would go to my dermatologist.
I thought you were talking about mole the animal. Is that? Okay, yeah. I mean, I would agree. You should probably have seen a doctor yesterday.
Yeah.
If
Yeah, guys, if your moles look like that, please go get checked.
and you get to the doctor, he looks at it through like a tool, like it's gone nebulous. Bad news. Anyway,
Oh, funny.
moving on. Galaxies. We got galaxies.
Yes, that's my another one of my very, very first pictures. Not the greatest, but I was proud of it. Of the pinwheel, and then you can kind of see in that spot where the supernova was.
This little glow down here.
Yep, that was a supernova that was going on.
So from your backyard, you captured an image of a star exploding from another galaxy that is arguably what, billions of light years away.
Yeah. I was pretty lucky on that one. I didn't even really know if I at that time that I had caught it.
Oh my goodness.
And then I had to go back and look at my pictures and I'm like, oh my gosh, I did catch the supernova. I was so pumped.
Well, you can put this in the pile with the Jupiter transit of crazy things.
Yeah, just pure luck.
I mean, you can, again, you can take that, Taylor Swift. This is getting pictures of this is way cooler. Sorry,
I didn't even process. I don't even know if I processed this one. This one wasn't even processed. I think I took it into Lightroom and just did some stuff to it. This is like almost a raw image.
Okay, yeah, still great.
That was at that point where I didn't know what I was doing. So I just, for a while I was the girl who did process galaxies on our Galaxy phone. So yeah.
Wow, that's so cool. Let's see here. There's another. So there are some galaxies out there that are ultra photogenic. The Pinwheel Galaxy, this one, they have all these kind of fun nicknames, and the next one coming up here is certainly no exception. This is the Whirlpool.
That one's that's a run rough too. That's don't get discouraged, guys. I thought it was beautiful. I was so amazed with it, but I can't wait to do that one again. I can't wait to redo it after all the stuff I've learned and see how it comes out. But
well, I assure you that I think you're the only one being critical.
Oh, but we're always critical over our own work, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if it helps, I've never captured an image of a galaxy, so you're already way ahead of the game here compared to me. So I think, and we're all definitely on the side of being impressed. So I'm catching up here on the chat. Looks like, yeah, okay, they were talking about the mole animal. That was looks like we were catching some laughs and humor in here.
Oh, good. I'm glad you're all laughing. Aim to ease.
Tony,
aim to please. Oh my gosh, I'm getting my words back and forth.
That's okay.
You thought these photos were bad, then wait till you see mine.
Oh my gosh, so good. And then so yeah, I can't wait to see you take a second stab at this and show how much you've learned in terms of the process to make a version 2.
Yeah. And that is an on-edge galaxy, and I'm trying to think of the name of it. And
is this the Cigar Nebula or Cigar Galaxy or
no? It's something else. It's like jackknife or on it. It's an on-edge galaxy, and that galaxy is really, really far away.
Okay.
And I wish I could remember the name of it, and I can't remember the name of it. Like,
Astronerds in the chat, if you guys know the name of this galaxy, definitely chime in and help us out. But yeah, it's cool. I mean, the perspective, like compared to the pinwheel, which is basically looking like at a dinner plate, so to speak,
right,
and then you get another galaxy, which is like a dinner plate edge on.
right.
Yeah. Karen, I thought that too, but I think I was wrong. So I don't know if it's the cigar. Maybe it's something.
I'm trying. Oh, I wish I remembered. It's like the Sliver Galaxy might be a name of it.
Cool. Yeah. Well, the perspective is
because I think it's like our galaxy. It's a spiral bar galaxy, but you see it on that edge. So
yeah. And then moving on here to I think the last image I've got in the loadout
my
here.
triangulum. That's the one I tried to kind of make 3D. So I took the background and blurred the stars in a background to kind of bring that galaxy forward.
Yeah, it's like putting a tilt shift lens on a camera.
Yeah.
It's so cool. It makes something that is absolutely massive seem like a little micro. Like you can pick it up with your fingers.
Yeah. And it's definitely an art. I feel like honestly, everybody who puts out you can all do the same galaxy nebula, but it's always different. Somebody's always going to put their different twist to it, and that's what makes it so fun. It's not always ever going to be the same. Somebody's always going to use some different colors to it, or but yeah, it's interesting to see how everybody processes their data.
Yeah. Well, and it's like there's really no right or wrong answer to it, or right or wrong way.
Right.
It's just a way for like this is literally what the namesake of this podcast, like the galactic window. We all view space uniquely, and this is our chance to have a tangible form of like presenting our unique view through the galactic window. It's like the same thing might look different to 100 different people or 1 billion different people. So how do you see it? In this case, like this is your version of it, and it's beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you.
I about near lost it there a second ago. So Tony goes, it's the flat Earth
galaxy.
Oh my gosh. It is no surprise that
I'm surprised I didn't hear that comment in my TikTok post when I posted that.
Okay, so funny story. So my friend Tony here, he is also another one of my like just number one supporters in everything I do in life, and he's always there for me. And he goes like so hard on trying to like just like rib me about all the space stuff. He from the very beginning, every post I've ever made about an astro thing is like fake, like flat Earth. He's just like he's totally.
I have a buddy like that.
He just leans into it really hard, and it just always cracks me up.
Yeah.
Gosh, yeah. So very, very, very cool. Cool. Well, I'm gonna bring this out of the chat here. Thank you so much for presenting those images for us, so we could see what you do.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I mean, the sky is literally the limit with what you can shoot, and like you've only captured just a handful of like the coolest things that are available to humankind, and you've got access to it through that thing in the corner of your room back there.
Right. Yeah, I have a list of what I want to get. I'm waiting for Thor's helmet. That's one that I'm really waiting for. I'm a huge I love Marvel, and Thor is one of my favorites, so I have to do that. And the Eagle Nebula, I missed that, but that's on my list with the Pillars of Creation and stuff and all that. So that's another big one that I'm hoping to get to in the future. So yeah, but yeah, there really is, there's so much to choose from, and just got to wait for that right time. It'll come around. Come around.
Yeah, for sure. I think we mentioned it in the how was it? No, I may be thinking of something else, but like there's an expression that I heard. I think it was from astronaut Chris Hadfield in one of his talks somewhere. He said he was a test pilot in the Canadian Air Force, and there's an expression amongst pilots which is like, if you have a problem while you're flying, maybe it was amongst astronauts. Regardless, he said if you have a problem while you're flying, you have the rest of your life to figure it out. Right? Like that's which in that case you may have mere seconds before something catastrophic happens, but like I like to think that we can carry that phrase into our life. It's like, well, it's if you have goals to shoot, it's like, well, you have the rest of your life to figure it out. But then it forces you to think, what does that really mean? Like, do I have 40 more years or do I have 40 more days? Like what, and then leaning into whatever that question mark amount of time might be and taking advantage of the time, which you're clearly doing. so good on you for pursuing it with
that
the
puts
time
it
you
in
have.
perspective, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I said earlier, I started doing this when I was 45. I'm 46 now, and it doesn't matter what age. If you enjoy space and you see other people and you think you can't do it, you can do it. You can start it at any age, and you can excel at it, and you can get really good, and you can build your skills. So I think when some people, like it happened to myself, you see those pictures at first and you feel like you can't, there's like, it's not possible, but it really is. It really is. And just don't get discouraged. I mean, I don't have perfect nights every single night.
No.
That just, I maybe have out of 3 months, say I have 3 good nights. it just happens, but don't get discouraged about it. So just move on. Just know that there's going to be other great nights and other opportunities and chances, and just wait for them to come along.
Right. Most of the objects that you can capture or view are not going anywhere. Right?
Exactly. They're not. And that's a beautiful thing. They'll all come around once again. So even if you missed your opportunity, with some planets this summer, they'll come back. They're not going to disappear.
Right.
So, hopefully not.
Right. Yeah. Right. I think it would be pretty weird if, a galaxy just, went poof.
Right.
But there are certain things in the space world that are a little more fleeting, and you had the chance to see one of them for yourself. You got to see a rocket launch recently. Can you tell us about that experience?
Oh my gosh. So we were hoping to get a closer view of it, but we weren't even sure if it was going to happen because of the skies. So we were down in Florida for vacation in November, and my father-in-law was like, yeah, we got to see if we can see this rocket launch. It was going off around 8:30 p.m. that night, around that time. And it was the SpaceX one. And I think it was Falcon 9. I'm not sure.
It would be Falcon 9 for sure.
Yeah. And so we're all in the backyard. We're waiting. I have my, phone, and I wish I would have sent you the video too of it, but had my phone going just in case. And we're like, oh, we're not going to see it. And we were looking in the wrong direction at first.
Oh no.
And he's like, oh, it's there. And just amazing. There was some clouds, but it was going in and out of the clouds. It was so dramatic, and then it finally burst out of the cloud coverage, and it was amazing. And at first I thought it was 70, I think that was like 76 miles away. We could still see it. Was it a big, huge rocket that you could see up close? It wasn't, but it was still amazing. And I was just awestruck about it. So when I get to Florida next time, my goal is to get closer to the launch pad and see a closer view of it. So,
it is like it shatters your sense of reality. Like people like the town of Titusville is just across the water from Kennedy Space Center in Florida, and those people who live in that area, or even just the surrounding areas, it's so regular. There's launches every week for the most part, and I can't imagine what that'd be like to you'd be like working, and all of a sudden you just hear this
Right.
rumble. Like,
Right.
oh,
Right.
don't worry,
Is
it's
that
just
an
a
earthquake?
rocket.
Oh no, it's rocket.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's something too that I don't think I would ever get tired of seeing. It's just it would amaze me every single time.
Hmm.
Absolutely, for sure.
I'm assuming the answer is no. Just trying to evaluate it in my head. But were you able to hear any of it from that far away, or just see it?
I I'm trying to think. To be honest, I think I could, and I don't know if it was a plane though too, but I swear I could very faintly hear something. I
Hmm.
don't know. Maybe it was an airplane though going around at the same time. So I'd
Right.
like to think I could.
Yeah. Sure.
So,
Yeah.
but
Well,
yeah.
with when you do get to get a little bit closer, there'll be no mistaking it. That's for sure.
Oh, absolutely not. Yeah. Yeah.
the The cool thing is the delay of the sound, which is a little bit weird. Like when you have to kind of like figure it out. So I've seen two launches, and one was from Titusville, the other one was from Kennedy Space Center, and
Mhm.
it was a difference of about 10 miles. So like the further away one, we saw this ULA rocket launching. It was an Atlas V, and we could see it go, and it was clear it was going up. But I don't know how many seconds it was before any of the sound came to us 14 miles away from the launch site. So it was like, I don't know, it felt like 10 to 20 seconds, and then you just gradually felt this rumble like just take over everything, and it was
Yeah.
like,
That's got to
oh my
be an amazing
gosh,
experience.
yeah, it's kind of, I don't know, it's reality bending.
Yeah.
Um,
Right. And
we
and where are these rockets, like the technology, and who knows what it's gonna lead us to in the future.
Right. Absolutely. Hopefully not as risky in the future, but
Right.
that's the point
Right.
of launching them so regularly now, is so we can
Yeah.
learn how to
They've
optimize
come
them.
a long way. They've
Hmm.
come a very long way.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I'm gonna try to quote Chris Hadfield again, but he in his TED talk he mentioned that the very first space shuttle launch, the odds were like of catastrophic failure were like 1 in 9 or something,
right.
and then when he went,
Right.
15 years later into the shuttle program, it was like 1 in 37 or something. So odds got better, but
Right.
I mean, you could literally find a 37-sided die somewhere and roll it and
Mhm.
feel just how small of a number that is.
Right.
And hoping you don't roll that number one. Um, I think the odds are a lot better now. But,
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like I said, the technology has come so far. It's very advanced. So,
right.
yeah.
Um, See a couple other people jumping in here in the chat. Just want to say hello. Welcome to everyone who is
Yeah.
watching and tuning in to the Galactic Window. Thank you guys so much for being here. I see Red. Hello. Welcome in.
Oh, there he is. Hey, Red, welcome in. Him and I are starting to become fast buddies.
There you go. There you go. He's representing the T-Div club. Um, let's see here. I'm trying to scan through here. Oh yeah, we got a Galactic Window veteran. We've got Tan in the chat.
Tan. Hi, Tan. I'm telling you, I was a little nervous. He was the last episode 4, and I'm like, I got some big shoes to fill. But all of it, like it was Godfather and then Star Kitten and Justin and Tan. I'm like, I got some really big shoes to
Oh
fill.
no, no, no. You all have the same heart. It's an equal playing field. You're all great. But yeah, so good to see everybody here. Again, feel free to participate in the chat. Along the way, we're continuing our fun conversation here. We're just talking about rocket launches. If you're just tuning in, Tara had the chance to see one in Florida very recently. And with that, you also got to go to the visitor center at Kennedy, right?
Yeah, we went to the Kennedy Space Center, and it was amazing. I think my favorite was the Legends part, and going to see the Astronaut Hall of Fame. That was literally, you felt the clamped in there, like you could just feel the emotion of seeing all the faces that all the astronauts and their faces on the wall, and it really put it into perspective about how many people actually um, were able to do all these amazing things and stuff. But yeah, that was my favorite part of it, honestly. It really cool. Even you walk into that room and the lighting around you, and on both sides, it's just like a circle, and it just surrounds you, and you can't help but like feel that energy around you.
Right. Well, and
Yeah.
we're kind of fortunate to live in a country that has put so much investment into space exploration.
Hmm.
I think there's been some 60 or 600 people have ever technically gone to space.
Yeah.
So I don't know the exact distribution. So I would definitely be uh, attributing the data here, but I believe the NASA astronaut corps has probably the largest chunk of the pie,
Yeah.
probably next to Russia.
Yeah.
Um, so like when you go into that Hall of Fame room, you're seeing literally, I don't know, hundreds, couple hundred worth
Yeah.
of literally of the world's entire fleet
Hmm.
of astronauts.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. It's very cool.
And they're real faces too. Like
Yeah.
they're not.
Yeah. And they're like etched into this lighted, and I'm trying to those, lighted platform. Like they got their own frames, and it's just the way they're light up, and the blue contrast of the walls and the ceiling, and it's just they did it that way to make you get the feels for sure. Like you can't not walk into that room and not feel anything.
Right. Yeah. It was a special place. Well, and to the topic we talked about earlier with videos, I think with real world experiences like Disney or NASA's visitor center, like putting the right music into
Mhm.
a space to make you feel a certain way. Like they always choose that kind of like cinematic heroic music at NASA.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes, and they did that. Like when you first walk into the room and go on that like Legends tour, and they show these videos and faces of important people throughout history, and you just can't help but feel proud. You feel pride actually, of all the things that were accomplished. It's amazing.
yeah. Well, and you make a great point there, and maybe indirectly, but there is so much more to, of course, the space programs than the astronauts themselves. And I think
Mhm.
I can't remember specifically, but maybe you would remember more freshly. But the Hall of Fame might have like presented more about some of the people who are behind the scenes, like flight
Yeah.
directors and
Yep.
mathematicians and people
Yeah,
who,
the engineers, all of that, and, none of that, which wouldn't happen without those people behind the scenes.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Did you see the movie Hidden Figures?
I don't think I did.
Okay, it's about the African American women who were part of the Apollo program who engineered the math behind the rocketry, who are arguably kind of the like pivotal component to making the whole Apollo program happening.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
and it's follows the real life stories of the women who did it, and Catherine, I'm forgetting her real name. Um, Remarkable story, an amazing movie drama about those people who contributed, and specifically this team of women who made Apollo happen. So I'd recommend that to you if you
Yeah,
were
that's
looking for a movie.
amazing. I'm gonna have to definitely check that out. Yeah.
Yeah, Hidden Figures is the name.
Hidden
Um,
Figures. I'll check it out. Yeah.
yeah. I saw a little comment here from Red. How often is this podcast? And is it always space topics? And yeah, thank you so much for hopping in for the very first time. It's always space stuff. This is episode 5, and this will certainly not be the last episode. And the prerequisite for my guests here on the podcast is that you simply need to love space. And that can mean so many different things, whether you're a backyard astrophotographer or an astronaut, like everything in between. Like I think everybody has a unique view into the universe, and it's worth sharing those stories. So that's kind of the gist of what we do. So yeah, the frequency that I do the show is twice a month currently, and you'll find one episode at the top of the month in the somewhere in the first 2 weeks, and then the second episode will be in the like bottom half of the month in the last 2 weeks, and each month it'll kind of change when it falls. I'm trying to kind of lean into the flexibility of my guests' schedules so that we can find the right date. There probably will be a time, maybe when it picks up a little more steam, when I stick to a specific day for a release. But for now, like less than the schedule or more than the schedule, I'm prioritizing getting the right guests. So that's kind of the breakdown there. So again, grateful for you jumping in. Yeah, Tan, you are one of them. Yeah, there's everybody has been awesome. Every single person who's been on here has been great. And I'm currently working on booking 2024, and I'm pretty excited about some of the potential here. So gonna be good. Oh, here's some more endorsement for Hidden Figures. So we've got some support there. And thank you for the subscription. You're the best. So appreciated.
Oh, awesome.
Great. So I want to kind of go into a little bit of something that I dabbled in with Tan, and I loved kind of where it went. And we kind of went into, like, we veered a little bit off of the space topic. I think we kind of kept it in the balance, but I want to call this section Deep Space. It's a pun, of course. If you spend any number of minutes with me, it will only be a matter of time before I make a pun that is worthy of me exiting the room. But obviously, deep space referring to any distance beyond low Earth orbit in its literal sense, like going to the moon, going beyond the moon, anywhere else in the universe, that's deep space. But in this regard, I'm referring to, like, let's go a little bit deeper than the surface level in terms of the exploring, like, who you are. And we had some fun with Tan last time, and I'm going to kick it off with one of these questions that they're sort of like challenge questions in a way.
Oh boy. Okay.
But it's one of those things where it's not going to be like, these are questions like about you. So no one knows you better than you, right? So these things hopefully will just come from within. But don't worry, I'm not going to, like, there's no trick questions or anything. They're more just like deep thought and deep perspectives. I think there's a lot of value in that, and kind of reaching that place with people. And I'm curious to know some of these answers, and hopefully everyone else is too. So here's a fun one right off the top of the pile here. Okay. So, if you had 5 minutes left to live, and you could choose one song to listen to during that 5 minutes before you die, what song would that be?
Oh, God. Let's see. It would probably be something by Fleetwood Mac, or Stevie Nicks. Ooh, and yes. Like, I'm a huge Fleetwood Mac song. It would probably be "Go Your Own Way."
Yeah.
I don't know why, because I just feel like that song, it literally "Go Your Own Way." I take it as just going with what you got, doing your own thing, and putting yourself out there, and lead a new charge, lead the new path, lead the road. So yeah.
Good stuff.
I love that song.
It's an excellent answer. Excellent answer. Okay, and then let's shift gears a little bit here. Let's if gosh, hold on, a little bit of a drink here. Keep talking and you get thirsty.
I know, right? I feel like, oh, cotton mouth.
Yeah. Who in your life would you say has been a significant impact on who you've become today? Like, who are some of your top influences? Maybe one or several, depending on who it may be.
Oh gosh. Definitely my parents, my mom and my dad. I'm the 6th child and the baby of the family. And I always saw my parents work so hard for everything that they had to get. And, my mom stayed home with us 6 kids growing up. And my dad had his own business, and he was auto body and doing auto body work, had his own garage and stuff. And they definitely taught me the value that, it's not all about material things. It's about family and being with people that you care about. And it's so funny because one of the things I remember as a kid with my parents, we used to love to spend a lot of time outside. And, I'm originally from the UP, where Bortle up there is amazing. And I can remember, I have memories of when maybe I was like 4 or 5. I can remember back and seeing the Milky Way for the first time. And I remember looking up at the sky when I was a little kid and just being like, what is that? Just mesmerized and stuff. So just my parents creating experiences, for me and my other siblings and stuff. And they really have, instilled in me a lot of, you know, being sincere, being genuine, treating people fairly, loving people, even the people who um, aren't on such great paths and not making the best choices. And those are the people that need the most love sometimes.
Mhm.
So yeah, I would definitely say that.
Yeah. It's that's really, really great to hear. And it's a blessing, of course, to be able to have a chance to connect with your parents on that deep of a level and to have
Yeah,
that
yeah,
transcend to through generations, which I'm sure you're taking those lessons and passing them on to your kids as well. And
yep,
I can almost guarantee they'll say the same thing about you at some point too, you
yeah.
know?
I hope so. Maybe not when they're teenagers or pre-teenagers, but later on in the road, they'll
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Right, exactly. Yeah, you gotta get through the threshold of, like, maybe age 25, right? Until then they'll come back
Yeah,
around and
yeah.
appreciate it. Um, what's a lesson that you've learned yourself, like, on your own through life that you, like, hold on to dearly? Like, that you're like, "Yo, I learned this," whether it was a easy way or the hard way, but I'm never letting go of this nugget of truth, and, it's valuable to you. Is there something like that that you've had in your life?
That you can't make everybody happy. You got to live your life for you.
Hmm.
Um, I grew up trying to be a people pleaser my whole life. And sometimes you just got to step back and you have to do what's right for you, because um if you're pleasing it, if you're making everybody else happy, um y- you're ignoring yourself sometimes. And you just got to make that time for yourself. You got to focus. It's okay to focus on yourself. It's okay to be selfish
Mhm.
and put as much energy as you do making others happy, to make you happy. And honestly, too, that was another thing with this astrophotography. It makes me happy. It
Yeah.
generally makes me happy. Like, it makes my heart so full. And it makes my heart so full. And I get in like the clip, like I'm like, teary eyed, because it makes me happy that I can share it with other people.
Yeah.
That makes me happy. So
Mhm.
yeah, and it's like, yeah, that's an emotional thing for me. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's how you know it's the right thing, you know?
You're right, right,
It
right.
Have you ever had anybody give you some sort of feedback, whether it's through a TikTok comment or a personal conversation where they've said, like, that your work has either made a difference for them or impacted them in a way that's changed the way they look at the sky? Have you ever had a moment like that?
I have, even in person too. I've had people make comments here and there, and they're like, "Oh wow, this is so amazing!" And can you tell me how you do this? And I find myself, mentoring some people every once in a while. Even people still mentoring me, because I don't know everything, and I don't claim to know everything. But um, yeah, they do come to me sometimes, and really enjoy helping people as much as I can with the knowledge that I've, gained so far. So,
Mhm.
but even like, especially my coworkers, like one of my coworkers said to me today, because she's like, I was driving to work and I saw this thing across the sky. And I'm like, yeah, you probably saw one of the, the end in the meteor shower and stuff. And she goes, is that what it was? And when I explained to her, about how it worked and stuff, and she's just like, well, whenever I have something that I need to know, I know I need to come to you. So, but yeah, it's kind of nice knowing that
Yeah.
people feel comfortable to come to me and ask me stuff, and they think that I'm that knowledgeable. Trust me, I have a lot more to learn.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Totally. Yeah, it's kind of fun when you can people sense, and they don't just know it, they feel it when they're around somebody who is in line with who they are, and people
Mhm.
get drawn to that.
Yeah.
And like I've no doubt that that's the case with you, and that's why you're their go-to person for space
Yeah.
stuff. It's like they trust you, not by thought but by feeling, and I think that's pretty special that you've achieved that.
Yeah. And it's hard. Like, I'm in a few like on other platforms, groups and stuff, like astrophotography groups, this group and that. And I share my work, and they enjoy seeing it. And but then you see other people are just starting out, and sometimes people aren't so nice. They're
Mm.
like, well, you should have done this, this, and this, and this. And some people are so harsh. So I just want to be that person to cheer them on. I want to be the cheerleader of those people. And like, that's amazing. That's awesome that you did that. And you should be proud of it. So
Mhm.
that's the type of person I am. You did that for the first time and you should be proud of it. And that's amazing. And you're going to go on to do amazing things. So,
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
Um, if you had pick one song that is a guilty pleasure song that you generally wouldn't broadcast that to anybody, that you might listen to on your own, when you have your earbuds in, that maybe not even your family knows, what might that song be?
Guilty pleasure. Um, the Jesse McCartney song.
Hmm.
And I'm trying to think. Leaving on a jet plane. That one.
Okay, I'm not familiar
Or
with it.
not leaving on a jet plane, or it's the what is it? That's Elton John. Something like C9, C9 or something like that. I can't remember.
Okay.
Um the Jesse McCartney song. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I just sang. I'm like, whatever. Your poor ears, guys. Your poor ears.
No, you're
But it's
good. You're good.
anything Jesse McCartney though is
Mhm.
pretty much probably, yeah. Like people wouldn't think I was a Jesse McCartney fan at 46, but
No, that's great.
I
Uh, is it, I'm leaving on a jet plane? Is it?
am. Leaving on jet. I think it goes leaving, never gonna come back again. So oh, gosh, I can't remember the words, and I can't remember leaving on a jet plane though. That's Elton John, I
Mm,
believe.
okay.
I want to say, but usually I'm better at that.
Mhm.
Knowing songs. I'm usually a pretty good um, pop music person and stuff.
Yeah.
When you're put on the spot, you're like, oh no.
Right, it's like, what do I do? Um, now, if you had the chance to solve one world problem, what would that be? Like global issue.
It could be anything.
Mhm.
Ah, well, I know for myself too. Um, I would make affordable people medication, like medication affordable.
Mhm.
My dad is going through this. So you all know that I have asthma and I have pretty bad asthma. I'm on a lot of different medications for it and stuff. And I probably get it from my dad.
Mm.
But he was just talking about how one of his medications went up like $300. Um, and it's crazy because not everybody can afford that, but you need it to
Mhm.
live a good quality of life and to help you live. So if I could solve that, like I would make medications affordable for anybody. I have friends, who are on insulin and stuff,
Mhm.
and that's crazy insane too. But that's what I would do. I would make, if you need medication and we have the ability and we can make it, give it to people. Make it, accessible to them.
Mhm.
So
I
yeah.
I just first of all, huge disclaimer. I am absolutely 100% uneducated on that topic. So I'm by no means any source of valuable knowledge. But I would this is like the classic one liner from people in the 2020s. I think when they try to pull off some sort of knowledge, and I'm totally going to use it. At least I'm gonna punch my ticket once, which is I heard on a podcast that there is the dude from Shark Tank. Why am I totally blanking on his name?
Mark
Uh,
Cuban.
Mark Cuban. Yeah, he has started that cost plus medication business where he's literally trying to
Oh, I think I may have heard something about that.
yeah, and he's trying to totally combat the crazy pharma industry where a drug that costs 6 grand is now $50.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that would be amazing. I think I heard a little bit about it, but wasn't sure what. But yeah, see,
Mhm.
that's what I'm talking about. And it's going to take, somebody in a higher position be like, hey, this is what we need to do. It's not that hard. Let's give
Right.
people a chance to live a good life.
Mhm.
So, yeah,
Yeah, it's like let's shed these archaic ways that we live by. Like
right.
what's the
Exactly.
point?
Yeah.
Just lining people's pockets, that's all. But yeah, I think it's a really good one that you picked. And hopefully we see some change there. And
Yeah.
um, you never know. Like it's one of the things too that I think the power that we have as creators is you never know the places or what's the Dr. Seuss book? Oh, the places you'll go. You never
Yes.
know where you'll get taken on your journey and how your platform might be able to be leveraged in such a way that can help solve issues like that. And who knows, maybe that's
Exactly.
something
And
that
bring awareness to issues. Yeah.
right, like you just, the opportunities are endless. Like you could one day, and you may not want to now, but like at some point, like you could be selling your prints or of your photos and contribute to organizations that are actually making a difference in the
Yeah.
places that you want to see change. Like there could be so much
Yeah.
potential there. So
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. And then here's another one for you. Um, if you could throw a party on an island for let's say a
Mm.
weekend,
Okay.
and you could bring 5 people. It can be anybody that you know personally, a celebrity, or someone who's dead. Who might those 5 people be that you would party with for a whole weekend, Friday to Sunday?
Gosh. My aunt Barbara, she
Mhm.
passed away. Oh gosh, it's been probably about 14, 15 years ago. Breast cancer when she was 56.
Hmm.
She was the life of the party. She was so much fun. Definitely her.
Yeah.
Um, let's see who else. Abraham Lincoln, because I want to know what he was thinking at that time and everything that happened before the whole thing went down. Honestly, that kind of stuff interests me.
Yeah, you guys will be
um,
like kicking back with a pint. You'd be like, "So, what did you think about that war?"
yeah. Um, I think John Lennon would be one of them.
Mm-hmm.
He was an interesting person.
Yes.
Um, I totally, yeah, invite him around to the party. Um, let's see who else. Taylor Swift, of course, she could sing to us.
Yep. The entertainment, you got to have it.
Yeah, Taylor Swift, and oh, I got one more. Hey,
Yep. Make it count.
Mhm. Oh, who would it be? That's a tough one.
Mm-hmm.
That's such a tough one. Um,
It's like you got to have all your bases covered with. It's like you got your
yeah,
historical
because I'm
figure, your
trying to,
pop star, a family
yeah,
member. Um,
probably. Oh my gosh. I would go Michael Jordan. I used to
Mhm.
idolize him when I was younger. I used to be a big, huge Chicago Bulls fan. And my
Yes.
room was decorated with Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen on one side of the wall.
Yep.
So,
Me too.
um, yeah, I think he's a pretty interesting dude. So,
Yeah. Did you get a chance to watch that Netflix documentary a couple years ago about the Bulls and
I
uh
haven't yet. I haven't.
make the time 100%.
Okay.
It's one of the best documentaries I've ever seen in my life about anything. It was so well done. They break down the whole story of the Bulls like success, and they cover all the decades and
Yeah.
from like the start way before the string of championships. They have all the like the original players and coaching staff and owners and all that stuff. They really get nitty gritty. And even if you don't like basketball, and I'm not even a
Mhm.
sports person, but I of course grew up. I was a kid during the Bulls crazy time. Um, it was like not a nostalgia trip, but like I went to school on so many things that I didn't know I would be that interested in. It was so entertaining. So if you like
Yeah.
Michael Jordan, he obviously is
Yeah. He's
featured
cool.
pretty bigly. Bigly. What kind of word is that? He's featured well in
That's
that.
your word.
That's
Bamboozled is mine. Now you got your own.
yeah. Oh my gosh, guys, things are getting bigly here. So that's cool. So Michael Jordan. So now let's just like rewind a little bit and look at this. So you're gonna have Michael Jordan hanging out with Abe Lincoln and your Aunt
Yeah.
Barb.
Yeah. You gotta go back to the president and figure out what was going on. Could you imagine just being a president in that time, that era when everything was going on around that time? It's crazy.
Well, before perhaps the 40s, the 30s, correction, the 30s, like most presidents, like people had no idea what these people looked like or sounded like. They maybe trusted a
Right.
picture in a newspaper or up to a certain point, maybe in a drawing before imagery was really
Right.
around. But like you were lucky if a president like Lincoln rode a train and came to your town,
Right.
and you got to see the president. You only just maybe heard from your local people that, oh, there's a guy named Lincoln and he's running for president. Like, do you like him or not? Like, I don't know. Like, it's crazy. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Now we know way too much about all the presidents.
yeah. That yes,
Way too much.
I arguably would prefer it the other way around, but you're right. But oh my gosh, okay, I have to feature this. What about your husband?
Oh, my husband. I see him every day.
But he bought you the telescope.
See him every day.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, no, I think he's a given. He'll be there at the party regardless. He's the asterisk after the 5.
Yeah.
You get a pass.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really funny. The other thing you mentioned John Lennon. Did you happen to catch the new Beatles song that was released like a month ago?
I
Now
think
and
I
then.
heard it maybe once. I think I did hear it. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
That's so crazy and amazing how they did that. It's like
Yeah.
brought something like that out and
Do you know? Have you heard the story of how they made it happen?
no.
S-
Mm-mm.
So I guess in the 90s, Yoko had this tape of a demo that John had recorded of a song that was never finished. It was just him on the piano. And she gave it to the surviving Beatles and said, maybe you guys can do something with it. I think in 1995, the three of them tried to create the other parts and put it together. But the problem is they couldn't, it was like a cassette tape. So they couldn't separate the piano from his voice. It was so muddy
Okay.
that they're like, we don't know what he's singing at some parts. And it's just too messy. And obviously if he's not here, we have no idea what this is. But they did record a bunch of the parts. And obviously when George Harrison passed in the early 2000s, then they're like, well, this is just lost to history.
Mhm.
Well, fast forward to present day when they did that series with Peter Jackson, the director, on gosh, I forgot what streaming service it was. I think maybe it was Disney Plus, but they documented the Beatles writing some of their last music together, and they restored the footage in this remarkable way because Peter Jackson in his studio had created this new technology to restore footage that they had actually created for a World War I documentary called They Shall Not Grow Old. And it was incredible. Turned 100-year-old footage into stuff that looked really clean. So they
Yeah.
actually took this technology and they partnered with, Paul and Ringo, and they're like, can you take this tape? Can you separate the music
And they
from
were
John's
able
voice?
to do it.
And they said they put it into the machine and they did all the processing, crystal clear vocals
That's
separated.
amazing.
And
Wow.
so they had John's voice isolated, and then they had George's guitar parts recorded from
Wow.
20 years ago. And then they recorded brand new parts, of course, for Ringo and
It's
Paul.
like
And
the
they,
group are back together. Hey.
yeah, and they called it the last Beatles song, and then
Wow.
they put it out. And the music video was incredible. They did, it was kind of, most of it was in the studio of them playing it, but then they cut in all these other shots of like the orchestra that they got in there, and then they kind of edited in historic footage of George and John and put in there as if they were playing with them for the music video. And then they had their younger versions of themselves next to them, so it's like old Paul is playing next to young Paul.
That's cool. I didn't see the music. I'm gonna have to go look up the music video now.
Yes, yes.
That
So
sounds amazing.
forgive my rant there for a second, but it was
No,
it
no,
was
that's
cool.
okay. No, that's cool. I'm gonna go check that out.
There's a short, like, it's like a 13-minute video that explains the whole process and shows more. So I'd recommend watching that and then going find the music video after it. So
Okay.
that'd be the order that I'd suggest if you.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will definitely check that out. Cool.
Yeah. Well, I think you had excellent answers for all those questions.
Yeah, you put me on the hot spot.
Yeah, I guess I didn't really prepare you for that, but I think you
That's
did great.
okay. Oh, thanks.
It was super fun, and I like I said, I think uh, there's a lot of value in the educational stuff, like, the telescope gear and the imagery. It's wonderful, and I think there's also the other side of the coin, and that's more the person behind the
Yeah.
craft. And I think it's so worth exploring that with people. So hopefully whoever is the next guest in the show watches this episode, and then
Yeah.
and then
I can't wait. I can't wait. Do you know who it is?
not yet, actually. I'm working on it. I've got a short list, and I'm trying to square it together here for
All right.
the end of the month. But yeah, so if this person unknowingly watches this, then they will be prepared.
Yes. Yes. It's not so bad. Whoever future person who's going to be questioned, it's not so bad. So
Mhm.
you'll do good.
Yeah.
You'll
Yeah.
do good.
Is there anything that you can think of that you're like, I totally need to talk about this tonight, that maybe I
I'm
didn't
trying to
ask?
think. Oh my gosh, we covered so much ground. Um, just, I just can't stress enough that, if you're thinking about, and I think even Tan touched base on this topic. If you're thinking about doing it and you get in a scope and want to do this, just do it.
Mhm.
And like he said, it's life changing. It really is. It
Right.
really, really is. So it's my how I relax and calm down. Although be it, sometimes it's frustrating. But that happens. But like it really is my way to come home and just chill and relax, and it takes my mind off the everyday thing, and I enjoy it so much. And you don't get bored of it. Like he said, it's something that just sticks with you. I've had hobbies. I tried to take up knitting like last year, and I don't even think I opened the yarn up to even knit and stuff. But this is definitely a passion that I'm gonna be doing for the rest of my life. So
Mhm.
yeah.
That's amazing. Well, and think
Mhm.
about how many, if you're a prime example of this, think about how many people are out there who have yet to discover that they love astronomy and that they love
Right.
astrophotography and the craft of capturing the night sky. Like, there's probably so many people just like you who are going
Mhm.
to discover it, and the winds are going to change for them, you know?
Yeah. Right. It's like I said before, it's something that I never thought that I'd be able to achieve or do. And I always wondered how people made these, how did they get these amazing images? It's got to be so hard. And I just thought it was out of reach, and it's not. So if people are thinking they're not doing it because it's just not within the reach, that that's not the case. That's not the
Mhm.
case. So
Right. I meant to ask this earlier, and it just came back to my mind here when we were talking about Hidden Figures, the movie. What are some of your favorite space movies?
oh gosh. Star Wars.
Yes. Yes.
I love Star Wars. We're in the Star Wars room. You can see Vader back over there. And
Yes.
my husband's collection of all his late 70s, early 80s figures. And then my son's droid he built at the Galaxy Edge.
Mhm.
And Spaceballs, that's a classic, right?
Yes.
I love Spaceballs.
But do you have Spaceballs the flamethrower? That's the real question.
And then what is it? The movie Apollo 13.
Mhm.
And The Right Stuff. The Right Stuff is an amazing movie.
Mhm.
I love that one.
I regret that I've not seen that, and I kind of
What?
like. I know. That's what I'm saying to myself. Is I haven't. It's
You must
gotta be on the
change that. You got to put that on your list and watch
Yeah.
that movie. That's a great movie.
I just started a series on my YouTube channel called Space Nerd Reacts, and I just did a kind of a demo of it, reacting to one of SpaceX's latest videos. But the goal is to do like watches of my favorite space movies, but also space movies I haven't seen. So I'm now expediting that one to the upper part of the list so I can watch it soon, and I'll do a video about it.
Yeah. And I know they're technically not space movies, but I love the Mandalorian series. Oh, sorry, I'm just such a huge Star Wars and the Obi-Wan series that was amazing, and Ahsoka and stuff. So yeah, those were cool too.
Yeah, incredible. Well, I mean, in Ahsoka, and I guess maybe I shouldn't say it. It's not it's
Might
not
be
necessarily like
a spoiler.
yeah, it might be. I'm gonna err on the safe side and not go there. But
some people might have seen it.
there's a significant part of the show which is it's relative to space travel, and it does something that's never been done in Star Wars visibly, and as as astro nerd, kind of thinking about it and experiencing this thing with the characters, I think was really cool. And hopefully you picked up kind of what I'm talking about. I don't know if I did enough. But,
oh, I did.
Good. Yeah. Well, I mean, Star Wars in general, and for me, Star Wars was one of the main reasons I got into astronomy. Was it just challenged my ability to comprehend what's out there, and it gave me a visual and an imagination, and obviously it just so happens to have amazing characters and thought-provoking visuals and action. But the science fiction market is probably more responsible for inspiration than in a lot of ways than realities, so to speak. So
we had a ugly sweater party today at work, and my ugly sweater but it wasn't ugly, but maybe some people did, but it was Darth Vader wearing a Santa hat, and it said "Merry Sithmas."
Oh,
so
very good.
that's the one I wore to work today. But yeah, Star Wars it's just an amazing movie, and even I know some people aren't a fan. Ooh, my ear pod fell out. But some people aren't a fan of the newer ones. But I loved it because, as I was talking to you before, I loved seeing Anakin from the beginning. And when you see those New Hope and all that, and you see those ones in order, you think he's such a jerk. And but then you see him grow up from a child and see him struggle and stuff. And the ending with Obi-Wan, that just kills me. So you just really feel sorry for the dude. And I've got a whole new, like, okay, he's not that bad of a guy. I mean, he went to the dark side, but like,
yeah,
it made me understand him more. So
yeah, it's some of the best cinema ever. But I think that character of Anakin and Darth Vader, it's he is us in a way. Like there's we are all have these like tragic falling outs with things in our life, and we
Right.
cling to those stories when we watch movies like this. It's like it may not be as crazy as uh ending the Jedi Order, but
Right.
you
Right.
didn't go into a monastery and do some terrible things. But
Yeah.
um i- but we all have things that we become attached to in times that like are not helpful, and of
Mhm.
course that can lead you to places in your life that are not productive. And it's that's why these stories are so meaningful, is you get to see real
Yeah.
characteristics
Yeah.
and fake characters.
Yeah.
um have when you mentioned the right stuff, did you ever watch, there was a new, like it was a short series, it was like a kind of like a remake, or like a, what's the word, like a reboot of it, but it was also called The Right Stuff, and it followed the same story of, you know, the Mercury, or the Mercury 7, and kind of the race to space, but it was from like 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah. I
um
don't think I did.
I want to
I must have
say
missed that
I want to say it was on Disney Plus, actually, in the
one.
National
Okay.
Geographic portion of it.
Okay.
I wonder if it's still on there. I'll have to look, but I would highly recommend that as well. It followed the drama
I'll take a
of,
look too.
yeah. I think I'm throwing all these crazy recommendations your way.
That's
I'll
okay.
I'll get the
You can
scroll.
message them to me.
Exactly.
Remember this, and this.
Right.
Yeah.
Highly recommended. That show was great. Also, if have you watched For All Mankind?
I have not, I don't think. Um, no. Is that a good one?
That one's
I don't
currently
think I did that.
airing. It's on Apple TV Plus, and season 4 is airing currently. And it follows an alternate history space program. So from the
Okay.
moment that the Apollo era happens, it shows the Soviets landing on the moon first, and from there history goes this way. And that's
Okay.
the story that you follow. So you follow some historical figures, but also fictional characters that live in this reality, and they follow it. So each season is essentially almost a decade jump, and they're currently kind of in the 2000s. And again, it's
Okay.
like alternate history. So like in this season, like Al Gore is president, and like this all stuff
Okay.
happening, and
Oh,
they
that's
do
cool.
it's an amazing drama, really great characters, and it kind of goes a little bit more sci-fi route in the seasons 3 and 4. But highly recommended if you have the chance. Oh no, I think we hit a pinwheel moment. Wait for it to come back. Hopefully, I'm not sure if you can hear me or not.
Oh, there you go. We're
Hey,
back.
there we go. Hey. All
We're
right.
back.
I knew we got another pinwheeler there.
Yeah, there was it's not a movie, but on Netflix, it was kind of like a documentary thing with Morgan Freeman. And it
Okay.
was how about the universe came to be, and they incorporated animals into it.
Hmm.
Universe. Oh, I wish I could remember the name of it, and I always forget it, but that's, I think, is still on Netflix. I'll try to figure out the name and let you know, but amazing, amazing, amazing.
Cool.
And yeah, yeah, really cool. That's how my son learned about like Thea and stuff, and how
Hmm.
Thea crashed into, Earth, and how it was formed and everything. So it was pretty, or I should say, the theory of it and stuff. So he was pretty pumped up when he saw that. He's like, "Wow, is that what really happened?" and stuff. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's cool.
Well, if Morgan Freeman said it, it's true, right?
Yeah, yeah. Morgan Freeman, like I could just listen to him talk. I didn't He could talk about anything, and it's just very soothing.
Hmm. I mean, he could be talking about like the most mundane things, and it would
Right,
be riveting. He'd be
right.
like, "I took my dog for a walk," and it's like, "Great, that's like, tell me more." Like, I want to hear more.
Right.
Yeah. So he's excellent. He's nothing short of
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. He does good with documentaries and stuff, so, yeah. There was that penguin one he did.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I can't even
March of
think
the
of it.
Penguins. Is
Yes,
that it?
that was I love that one.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I may have only seen parts of it, maybe clips. I don't know. I don't think I've seen the whole
Okay.
thing. Hmm.
Yeah, that's a good one. So
Yeah. Um, Cool. Well, I figured maybe this would be a good time to kind of wrap things up and
Yeah.
call it a night. It's been a long run here. We're already at almost 2.5 hours, which I am.
Yeah. I'm surprised I talked this long. I was like, oh, am I gonna have anything much more to say? And I had a lot more than I thought I did. So
Right. Well, I mean,
went
that's
well though.
in the grand scheme of things, 2.5 hours is just a snippet of your story, and we really only scratched the surface, and all of it was incredible to hear. And I hope that everyone who is tuning in tonight, whether you're here for part of it or all of it, was able to take something away from Tara's story, and to be inspired by the work she's doing. It's incredible. So, uh,
Thank you.
yeah, Tara, I'm so glad that you made the time to be here tonight and to just be a little bit vulnerable. I mean, obviously, even beyond the deep space segment, but
Yeah.
to share what you do, especially the things that you love the most, sometimes can be like really nerve wracking. And I don't take that lightly. I take it very seriously, and I'm glad you took the risk to be here. And now you're among the Hall of Legends.
Oh, yeah, it's a great place to be. I'm honored.
Well, you're always welcome back again in the future. I can't wait to see some of the follow-up shots that you said you were working on. And I'm going to do what I do every time here. And I'm going to put a little bit of promo here. If you want to see more and hear more of Tara's story in real time, you can follow her on TikTok. There is her handle at @T_div_astro. And you can tune into her lives anytime you want. And you can have your own chat and learn more from her directly. And be sure to pummel her with questions and remind her to watch all those cool space movies that I told her to watch. So, but yeah, as just as a thank you, please go follow her, help her get that sub count up or the follower count. And I'm sure she'll appreciate all of that.
I appreciate all my followers. Yeah. Y'all are amazing.
Cool. Well, you're one of a kind. Again, grateful that you were here, and I hope you have a wonderful night until the next time I see you, Tara. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
It was a pleasure.
Take care. We'll see you.
Bye. Bye, everyone.
All right, let's dial it back in here. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much, Tara, again, for coming in, and everybody who joined us here in the chat along. This has been another awesome episode of the Galactic Window. I have so much fun doing these. Like, you really have no idea. One of my greatest joys in life is making new friends. Like, really, it really is. And I kind of just like to hear what people have to say about their life, and especially when you can get it in terms of a lens of something that they really, really love. I think that's when the true magic happens, when there's connection with friendships. It's incredible. So far we've had 5 episodes here, and each one has just always been like top of the line. So I'm grateful to everyone. There's now this group of veterans, as I call them, as you come in the chat. We see some of the past guests here tuning in. I'm grateful for you guys for believing in me and supporting the channel and the podcast, helping it get off the ground. In this case, almost literally. So again, you can go watch past episodes of the Galactic Window on the Orbital Alliance YouTube channel. Go back and watch those. Currently, I'm on a bit of a challenge to get my watch hour count up on my channel. That's one of my personal goals here, which basically means if you are interested in space, I would love for you to, the best way you can support me is to watch my content as much as possible. And the best way to do that is maybe to listen to one of these podcasts while you're driving or at work, while you're just doing whatever you do at the desk. Throw a podcast in your ear and listen to a previous episode. That would be the best way you can support me. I would love it. So thank you guys so much. In terms of other content that you can be excited about that I've posted here on the channel, I recently posted an adventure vlog where I toured the West. I went out to Arizona and Utah to capture the annular solar eclipse. I posted a video there documenting that experience of what it's like to take a photo of the moon going in front of the sun. So be sure to check that out as well. I also did a trip to Canada in August. I made a video about that where I got to meet astronaut Chris Hadfield. Be sure to check that video out after you watch the eclipse one, or in whatever order you want. That's up to you. And of course, we'll be posting about the upcoming guests here very shortly. I'm working on booking the next episode and the ones going into 2024. And I do not think you will be disappointed with some of the people I have in mind. I think it's going to be great. So very, very excited. With that, I am going to sign up for the night and Yeah, thank you, everybody. I was looking in the chat one more time here. Everybody who tuned in, so many astro nerds, so many new people, so good. Let's see here. Let me get all this set up here. Cool. Well, with that being said, I appreciate every single one of you. Keep looking up in the night sky, and we'll see you in the next episode of the Galactic Window. See you all on the other side.